It was just getting good. We lost.
Should we take the break and maybe he'll call back? I don't know.
You know what? We can take the break and we can see if Ethan can reconnect with him because I want to hear where he goes with that answer. I don't know. CJ, I'm just saying, we just started bringing up some deep stuff and then it gets cut off. Is the Illuminati listening to the show? Just saying.
Welcome back to the show. 3 minutes away from 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
That's it. I'm going home.
Dang, man.
See ya.
I wouldn't even be on the air on any of our stations before 8 o'clock. I don't know where that came from. Reading, it's hard.
Well, I think when you have I'll say in all candor, when you're in a foreign country and a monkey in a diaper sitting on your head, you're asking for trouble.
Discussion can end there. That's right. It's a definitive statement on the issue. Now we move on.
So how many times have you thought about that was a bad idea that I had a monkey on my head since you had the monkey on your head?
Every time I go visit Dr. Pellegrino, my personal doctor. Do you know what it's like to tell your doctor that?
Well, Doc, I also had a monkey. Excuse me? Had a monkey on my head with a diaper on. I bet you that's the first time Dr. Ron has ever heard that one. He's probably heard a lot of things.
He's heard a lot. Yeah, Dr. Ron has.
He's one of the great West Virginians. He's up there from the Northern Panhandle.
He's awesome.
Tremendous. Yeah, Dr. Ron. Good dude.
We were talking in my office a little earlier, and a phrase that Ryan used that I was really kind of gobsmacked over. He started a sentence with me. He said, "We were watching football on Thursday."
I know, he did the same thing to me. He did this. Is this like Earth 2?
I said, what?
He came back and started telling me about the Cowboys and the Chiefs game. You were watching the Lions game on Thanksgiving Day.
Well,
what happened? What happened to our little Ryan?
Well, when my Uncle Bill and my Uncle Chris asked if I want to watch football with them, I don't say no.
Okay.
So, because I'm not a recluse anymore.
So if you have uncles that are big sports fans, do you get some creds? Are you like, hey, I'm actually kind of a sports show, syndicated?
Well, I don't.
Statewide.
Well, I don't want this to be a sports show.
Second game this season that Honors had 8 threes. Second time he's had 8 threes, and his coach has pulled him out with over 4 minutes to go.
You're up 40.
Yeah, but coach just does not want to see him get that record.
There may have been a discussion about that on exactly where he was in the number.
Did you let him know this time?
But there was a discussion about where he was with the number. But at the end of the day, Ross decided the juice not worth the squeeze there. With 3.5 minutes left is when he pulled him out after the timeout there. And that's a guy with a lot of minutes on his in his body. You need to rest him. But 2 out of 11, you got to think maybe he's going to approach that again. Here's what's wild. In those 2 games where he's just been one off of Alex Ruoff's record, he's now a combined 16 of 20 from 3 in those 2 games. So he didn't just make 8 threes, guys. He was 8 of 11 last night. He was 8 of 9 when he did it before. 16 of 20 combined in those 2 games.
Across this great state of West Virginia, welcome in high school game nights. I chuckle a little bit, folks, because it said early edition.
As compared to the rest of the edition,
Yeah. Tonight is going to be interesting, to say the least.
10 seconds remaining.
Going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
You had a moment of clarity about when it all started to make sense for you?
It did, because I didn't want to be a filmmaker growing up. I didn't even know what filmmaking was growing up. I used to watch Oprah and Katie Couric, and that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a journalist. Yeah. I wanted to be you. And I worked at West Virginia University's radio station, had a very thick accent. People would call in and make fun of me. And so I asked my roommates, my college roommates who were from Baltimore, to teach me how to talk differently.
Really?
Yeah. And it's a loss, I feel. from that. And it's probably one of the reasons why I love documenting people that are authentic. Like, I don't know if I'm authentic, but I think the people I find are very authentically who they are, and that's what draws me to them.
This is Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law. Metro News Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. For your entertainment, Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Or call 800-765-8255. Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekly.
All right. Hello, West Virginia. We're back for more in the 304. Time to get it done in the 681. Time to start this 3-hour audio tour for Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. Metro News Hotline comes to you from the Salango Law Studios. Visit salangolaw.com. Currently 30 degrees here in Charleston, and no more snow. Coop, did you get much snow at your palatial estate over in Kanawha City last night?
Bunch of weird stuff yesterday. You know, it was first it was snow. The snow was melting the ice. That was earlier in the day. But then by the time we started heading home, what began to happen was that it was very freezing almost instantly. So the snow was freezing with texture, if that makes any sense. It was like pebbly, like that pebbling ceiling that everybody scrapes off of their ceiling now.
Popcorn.
Yeah, like the popcorn ceiling. That's what their roads were like going home last night. You and I stepped into the parking lot together. It was like, whoa, this is a little different. Yeah, it was a little crazy, but it was fine. I made it home.
How about you, Ryan? You have any trouble with the weather yesterday?
No.
No problem?
No problem.
All right. I tell you what, this dude is a wordsmith, Coop.
I know, man.
He's a wordsmith.
Yeah, that's the way he goes.
I know.
Hey,
that's the way he goes.
You keep saying palatial estate. Now, excuse me for not being cultured, but what does that mean?
Big. Big, expensive.
Okay.
Posh. Man. Going home last night, Coop, you have no idea. You have no idea.
Yeah.
So I stopped off briefly, and I saw it was a little slushy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into the flats in South Charleston. And, let's just say I got to a stop sign, and I was trying to stop.
Oh, no.
One of those. And then hey, 4-way stop, hey.
What,
it's like.
Did anybody else?
Goober on parade, slipped right through, man.
Did anybody meet you in the middle?
No,
oh, okay,
no.
That's good. That's
so good. Then I get up the hill in Central Avenue and hang a right and get into the house. And my driveway has a slight incline on it. And so I pull into the driveway, put the car in park, shut the car off, go into the house. Coop, I am not in the house more than 60 seconds when Linda says, and this is really funny, she says, "Get your shoes back on and put on your coat."
Okay.
And that's a direct quote, okay? The car had literally slid off the driveway and was part of the way into the street. And with my neighbor having their car parked legally in front of their house, our street was blocked. I was literally blocking our street. And there was one person that was in their car on the right driving up the street. And I'm assuming they were thinking that maybe there was somebody in my empty car because they weren't laying on the horn. And meanwhile, as I looked to my left, up towards the intersection, there was another car heading down into this mess. So I basically got down into the street and got my car and pulled up as close as I could to the garage door, and everything was fine, But Coop, I've been living there since the weekend before the crash of '87. Okay, and that had never ever happened before, and now I can't trust my driveway.
Yeah,
I can't trust my driveway. I'm like running around the house last night, every half hour, just kind of like peeking outside, like, car okay? Yeah, it's still there, off and in the driveway.
Yeah, my daughter questioned me last night because I told her it was raining slush. I was like, it's just slushing out. I don't know how else to explain it. She's like, no, it's not. I'm like,
what?
Seriously, it's just slushing. It's not rain. It's not snow. It's not sleet. It's literally just slushing outside. And so she didn't believe me, so I just stuck my hand outside for a little bit, stood out on the porch, and collected some in my hand. I mean, it was just slush.
Well, wait a minute. Now, your daughter's 7 years old, right?
Yeah.
She's 7 years old, and she's already questioning you, the
man,
elder, Coop the elder?
She knows everything.
Okay.
She knows everything. And look, man, there's nothing like being corrected by a 7-year-old.
I was going to say.
And it's happened. So, I can't really fight her on it. When she's been like, Dad, you just have to hit this thing over here. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, I am 51 years old. Yeah, you do. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
You're right.
Sorry about that. Oh, that's good. That's funny.
Yeah.
You know what, Dave?
yeah.
What's wrong with questioning your elders? I do it to you all the time.
And there's the answer to your question, Ryan.
There you go. Well, that is a solid point.
You're keeping the little man down, and by little man, I mean little babies.
Stephanie's in the box. Stephanie, how you doing back there? Okay. Oh, she's going to call in a second just to make sure. She's only like 10 feet away. You know what, Coop? We need like a Stephanie cam. Like just a little...
Or just a Stephanie mic would be fine.
Yeah, just something back there.
Yeah, a little Stephanie mic.
Stephanie mic back there. So she'll be calling in here in a minute. Hey, let me ask you, I have a couple of things I want to talk to you about. So WVU's got a basketball game at Cincinnati tomorrow night. Oh, answer the phone. That's probably Stephanie. Steph, is that you?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. So WVU's got a basketball game tomorrow night at Cincinnati, and there's a couple of guys that are on the Cincinnati roster that played at WVU. Sincere Harris and Kerr Kreese are former Mountaineers who are on the Bearcat roster.
Right. I forgot about those guys.
Have we totally changed our opinion on this kind of stuff about, guys who are on your team and then they transfer and then you play them? I mean, is there any sort of animosity?
I'm glad you asked this question because I actually had an epiphany, I think while I was sick, honestly.
Right.
On this exact same topic, I have no idea why I was thinking about it. So here's the way I feel about it. This stuff is happening constantly, right? People are just crisscrossing the country, changing teams, right? I can't keep up with it. Your job is to sort of keep up with it, but you got to reference this stuff, right? I mean, you might be able to keep it on top of your head for WVU and Marshall, but it's not something that you can do religiously. And here's the way I feel about it. If you care enough to actually follow it, get mad.
Yeah, go ahead.
You own it. You deserve it. If you actually know that guy played here and did that and scored so many points on you one night and then came back and did this and then left the school and went somewhere else and whatever, and that's in your brain and that makes you upset, man, you've earned that hate.
Yeah, I guess
you've earned it. So go ahead, fly that flag, man. I don't care. That's all good.
I was just kind of wondering about this, especially in the situation of Kreese, because do you really think that he's in his apartment right now thinking, I can't wait to play against the fourth or the fifth team I've
there's
played
been people
for.
that were stuck in storms longer than that guy was here.
I know.
I can't imagine.
I remember the Cincinnati had a football game this year that Fox Big Noon kickoff was there, and he was at the pep rally, and they showed him at the game, and I'm like, this dude, he can't find his apartment, much less care about Cincinnati Bearcat football.
But look,
right?
if your goal is to go to campus and go to a bunch of pep rallies and stuff, then
there you go.
You're living a pretty good life.
Yeah, I suppose so. I just don't know if these guys really care about that anymore. I mean, the guys on the WVU basketball team have no idea who these cats are, right?
No,
they're all they're all done. I mean,
Yeah.
the only people who even know about this stuff are super fans at this point.
And to me anyway, the only time that we got mad at athletes, there was always that vein that got mad at the athlete that went out of state, and that seemed to carry for whatever reason. I never really agreed with that one all that much, but that seemed to be one vein. But the vein of people that played and then transferred out before this era of the transfer portal, they had to have some skin in the game to get mad at him, I think. I don't think a guy that was like your third-string quarterback that transferred to Rutgers and then you play him 2 years later as he's a senior or whatever, I don't think you're carrying a lot of animosity for that guy back in the early 90s or whatever, you know? But I think that if a guy played for your school for a couple years and, you know, maybe won some games or whatever along those lines, then you carry that with you a little bit. None of these guys are here long enough for that.
Well, times have certainly changed. I mean, in the before times, if you transferred, okay, that was like a scarlet letter.
Yeah,
right?
and you sat out a year and everything else.
Well,
yeah,
it's
right?
like you transferred. What happened? What was the problem? Did you have problems in class? Did you not get along with the coach? Were you recruited over? Now, if a dude spends more like 1 or 2 years in a program, you're like, well, I guess you just don't have anywhere else.
Do you
to
remember
go,
Do you remember the Wild West loophole days where people would transfer down to Division II, play a season, then transfer back to Division I, so they didn't have to sit out a year?
So anyway, I'm
scandal.
I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow night, but I just don't know if there's any heat in terms of like.
Yeah, there's no heat.
Yeah,
let's just win the game. You know, there's no heat.
Before we get too far ahead, you wanted to ask me something.
I did, and I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it right now. So, Coop and Ryan, I was watching a video last night about the 25 best space movies of all time.
According to who?
The dude I was watching on YouTube.
Why just ask the guy?
Well, I'm going to do that right now. And
Dave.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Why
do that
aren't you
right
including
now.
Stephanie?
Well,
you got her on, said hi to her, and then started talking sports.
I know Yeah, it's almost like the helpline. I've got her on hold, and now I'm not talking to her.
Yeah.
Coop, what's the best space movie of all time?
Man, that is a great question. And by space movie, I'm going to assume you mean like not necessarily Star Wars, right? We're talking about
No, Star Wars is a space movie.
I mean, it is, but not necessarily just like fictional movies based in space. You mean like the body of work of space movies, right?
Yeah.
So like Three Body Problem on Netflix could be one of them because
that's true. I hadn't even thought about that.
Like those lines. So
that's a series.
Yeah. Right. So my answer to that would be Contact and 2001.
Okay. Okay. What about 2010? Did you like that movie?
It's fun. It's good, but it's not as good as 2001, so I don't see why to mention that.
Ryan, what do you think about this? What's the best space movie?
I got to go with the classic, Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. This ranking did not have Star Wars, and they ranked the original trilogy, okay? Mm-hmm. They did not have them number one. They had Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan, was the number one space movie of all time. And they had a couple of Star Trek movies in the ranking of the top 25. How do you feel about that?
Ryan will probably, I don't know how he'll feel about this, but to me there's always been a difference between Star Trek Space Fair and Star Wars Space Fair.
Yeah.
Star Wars Space Fair is, you can take that archetype in any direction, basically. You can drop it in the middle of the Old West. You could drop it in Samurai Japan, anything else, and just the weapons change, basically. Feudalism and things like that.
The foundation of it is like an opera.
Yeah. It's a universal story. Star Trek is more specifically about space, and I think that's why it would rank a little higher.
One of the things they brought up that I thought was interesting was they ranked the movies that were in space. So, for example, you remember the Star Trek movie where they went to Oakland, or spent the whole
with the whales.
Yeah, you save the whales. They're on the bus.
Yeah, that one.
Spock wears a bandana.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't put that one in there, but it's
a terrible movie. That's why. I mean, it's fun, but it's pretty terrible.
Terrible's relative.
It's not one of the better ones.
No, it's not one of the better ones. But I mean, how do you put something like Star Wars movies up against some sort of serious cinema like Interstellar, okay, or maybe Alien?
Yeah, I honestly don't think Star Wars fits necessarily.
Yeah, I think that's an issue of the person that you watched rather than like an issue with the movies.
You know who else was in there, Coop? And you pull this one out every once in a while. The Last Starfighter.
Yeah, sure.
And that is a space movie.
It is,
right?
It is, man. But there's a lot. When I think space movies, I immediately shift to the more serious direction. Like if you're not asking me about space operas or action, or if it's specifically if hey, what's a great space movie? I mean, I'm going to like Cool Runnings or something.
Oh, there you go.
You know, I mean, my depth of knowledge of 70s sci-fi is honestly quite deep, and man, I could probably go 10 movies deep just in 70s sci-fi. Let's talk about Solaris or something, the original Russian one. I mean, there's tons of movies I would consider space movies that are better space movies than Star Wars.
You know what Ryan told me before the show? He told me that there is another version of Event Horizon that is even more gory. That there's more gory stuff somewhere than ended up in Event Horizon. And my reaction to that is, how is that even possible?
And it was discovered in a salt mine in Liechtenstein.
It sounds like it was probably like it's actually part of the movie. That's very meta.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to ask you guys how you felt about that. I mean, when you rank movies about space, I guess at least in this list, they took the Star Trek movies pretty seriously, and that kind of surprised me.
A handful of them I would take pretty serious. Yeah.
Does Le Voyage dans la Lune count as a space movie? That's a trip to the moon from 1902.
Well, yeah, I guess so, because part of it takes place on the moon, right? They create the moon in the movie. So
also, just briefly, I'll mention, like in Star Trek 1, I think Arthur Clarke helped write that, and the plot of the movie is they literally found Voyager that we launched from Earth.
Voyager.
You know, I mean that's a pretty spacey movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's
pretty spacey.
Jeff Jenkins has joined me. Hey, and Jeff, you and I have been around journalism for a while. I just want to get your reaction to this. What's your reaction to this story? It's going to be the basis of our question of the day here in a moment, that the Washington Post has dumped their sports section. Yeah. What do you think about that? I mean, we have listeners over in the Eastern Panhandle that probably for many decades probably got the Post delivered.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, we've seen it happen everywhere, right?
Post-Gazette.
Post-Gazette.
You know?
Just another, it's just, I mean, it's not, maybe it's not shocking anymore because we've heard all these, you know, but what are you going to do when the Nationals play? Who's going to cover that? Is it copy and paste AP in there, maybe?
Well, I guess so. But my thought is, just in the newspaper business in general, we're to the point where if you think that the path forward is to charge more and deliver less, that's not going to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, would I be interested in buying a digital subscription to the Washington Post if I know there's going to be zero sports coverage and that they're closing all of their foreign bureaus? Why would I want a digital subscription to that?
You wouldn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Think about this. How many people in the Eastern Panhandle or nationally, I mean, the Washington Post was like an international brand. When the Redskins won a Super Bowl, would have like the front part of the sports section on their wall.
Yeah.
Now it's like, wow, we've won a Super Bowl. I can't wait to see how the Washington Post is going to cover this. Oh, wait, they're not.
But what's happening, Dave, are people saying, where are the highlights of the Washington Commanders winning the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
With this.
Right? Your phone. Well, the difference is, though, that the Post is still going to exist.
Yeah.
Okay? It's just not going to have a sports section in it. And when you think about the history of the guys, I mean, some of the biggest names in sports journalism over the last, almost 100 years have worked at the Washington Post. I mean, the Shirley Poviches and the Thomas Boswells, and not to mention the Kornheisers and the Wilbons and all these people. Right. You're just supposed to, like, march on and forget about that? Apparently they are. Hey, Jeff Bezos was losing like $100 million a year. To me, that doesn't mean anything, but to him, that's important, I guess.
I'll say, glad I'm working.
Yeah, exactly.
Thankful I'm working.
Yeah, exactly. So let me get the question of the day out. Question of the day is this. The Post just laid off a third of their staff today, eliminated the sports section, closed several foreign bureaus, books coverage is gone. So the question of the day, and it's sponsored by Salango Law, is this. Who were the sports writers that impacted your love of sports growing up? And what's your reaction to the news today that the Washington Post is dropping its sports section? Who are the writers that impacted your love of sports growing up? And what's your reaction to the news that the Washington Post is dropping its sports section? To respond, text those in. 304-TALK 304, 304-8255, 304. Tweet me, Emmett Weekly, WEEKLEY. All right, Jeff, what's going on? We got a news division.
That's
What's going on at Metro News? What's happening
We have
today?
a good website that's overturning often. All right,
Yes.
WVMetronews.com, lead story there. Both WVU President Michael T. Benson and Marshall President Brad Smith appeared together before the House Finance Committee earlier today and talked about their budgets, some projects that they would appreciate legislative funding for. At Marshall, they want to get a separate building, a home for the June C. Abrar School of Medicine, which really has never had its own home in 50 years. The WVU, Benson one of the things he talked about was the HVAC project at the Hope Coliseum. You know, they want to get air conditioning in there, Dave. That's up to a $23 million project, so they can use the building all year long. Concerts, different things, revenue producer, right? So that's a news/sports story. So you can read more about that at the website, WVMetronews.com. Couple other things from the legislature today. Also, the man who allegedly shot the 2 Guard members from West Virginia, he was in federal court today for an arraignment. We have that story too.
All right, Jeff, thank you.
Nice sweater, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's take a quick break. We're coming back with more in a minute.
Hi, I'm Chris Waddell, Principal and Office Lead for Martinsburg for CEC. After serving in the military, I found my home in Martinsburg. Traveling across the states, I've always wanted to serve my community. At CEC, I get to do just that. Our core values, clients first and we own it, resonate with my mission-driven background. We solve problems by listening and collaborating, and as an employee-owned firm, we take pride in every project that we do. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
Need a break from the headlines and
Trojan Landing Marine is now Charleston's newest power sports dealership.
We now feature a full line of sleek Suzuki street bikes and four-wheelers. We're now offering the innovative riding experience of Benda motorcycles. The next step in motorcycle evolution with all-electric Zero high-performance bikes. We've now got Segway vehicles starting as low as $10,000. Come in and check out our great selection of high-quality Benelli and Royal Enfield bikes. Visit Trojan Landing in Charleston, now your water, road, and dirt dealership.
Coming to Parkersburg High School, February 6th and 7th. Who are the toughest men and women in the state of West Virginia? Watch Tough Man live on Metro News Television to find out. Featured fights, top 5 finishes, and event archives. Download Metro News Television on iPhone, iPad, Android, Roku, LG TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Find out more at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
New year, new trucks. Start your year off with a new truck from Dan Calva Toyota World. Now lease a 2025 Tacoma for as low as $299 a month. Save over $7,500 off on select Tundras or get 2.99% for 72 months. It's your last chance to get a gas model 2025 RAV4. Don't miss out. Come experience cars you can count on year after year. Dan Calva, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the road.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding Kennedy Bank. We're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. Supporters of a bill on its way to the state Senate after passing the House of Delegates today say it will help small businesses who are looking to fill jobs with existing workers. The bill provides grant money for businesses for job training of their workers. Harrison County Delegate Clay Riley says it's a jobs bill.
This is something. It may not be perfect. We're hitting a lot of singles. I think this is a double, maybe a triple. And it does so with accountability for the employers and the employees.
A funding source for the program would have to be created in the state budget. Both WVU and Marshall say they still have millions of dollars of deferred maintenance on their campuses. WVU President Michael T. Benson and Marshall President Brad Smith shared some of the needs today with members of the House Finance Committee. Smith says the Marshall College of Science building needs some major work.
In the spring when it gets hot, the hooding and ventilation system in our chemistry labs are insufficient for today's code, and so we many times have to cancel classes. It gets up to 116 degrees, and it's unsafe for students to be in those classes.
Meanwhile, Benson is asking the legislature to help fund a project to install air conditioning at Hope Coliseum, a $19 million project. State Division of Highways says it's committed to ensuring the historic Wheeling Suspension Bridge continues to be the centerpiece of the community. And we're coming today from State Transportation Secretary Todd Rumball following a meeting today with Wheeling officials. The bridge was closed to traffic in 2019. You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Who are the toughest men and women in the area? It's the 41st Annual Tough Man Contest, coming this Friday and Saturday to the Parkersburg High School Fieldhouse. Sponsored by Astor Auto, Shirt Factory and Sporting Goods, Pro Trust Advisors, West Virginia Mobile Drug Testing, North Central West Virginia Airport, J.W. Potts Insurance, and All-Tech Environmental and Construction. After party at the West Virginia Polo Club. Buy tickets at WVToughman.com, at the Polo Club, or at the door. Tough it out. Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m.
Hi, I'm Alex Cook, and I'm a project manager with CEC. When people ask why I work at CEC, I tell them it's because we turn visions into reality right here in West Virginia. I point out the roads, parks, and bridges we've developed and the streams we've restored. Then I mention the team, engineers, surveyors, scientists, all working together in the supportive culture we share. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
The Jackson County Commission committing $15,000 in county funds today, a project with WVU Medicine Jackson General Hospital to put a baby box at the hospital. Commissioner Steve Westfall explains.
It will be a box that is provided from Safe Haven Baby Box out of Indiana. It will be a place that if a mother wants to put a newborn child in this box, it'll be air conditioned, controlled and everything. The box will actually be located on the side of the hospital.
Read more at our website. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
Discover the WVRC Media app, your gateway to pristine audio for every WVRC radio station across West Virginia. Download it for free from the Apple or Play stores and enjoy the best music, talk, and local news from Beckley to Morgantown, Charleston to Martinsburg. Our stations are locally programmed, delivering the finest music and robust local news and sports coverage. Experience West Virginia radio like never before. The WVRC Media app. We're proud to live here, too.
All right, welcome back. 26 minutes till the hour, Metro News Hotline. Hey, wherever you're listening to the show today, inside the state, beyond the borders, just trying to get a read on what's going on back home. We hope you're having a good day. We'll get the Sound of Sports going here in just a minute. Oh, Tom Bragg's going to be here at the top of the hour. That'll be fun. Abrar Al-Heeti's on the show with a tech news segment coming up in about an hour. We've had a lot of response already to our question of the day. Let me get a couple of these in here. Question of the day, sponsored by Salango Law. The Washington Post laid off 1/3 of its staff today, eliminating its sports section, believe it or not. So the question of the day is this. Who were the sports writers that impacted your love of sports growing up? And what's your reaction to the news that the Post is dropping its sports section? Herman, who's listening in Mississippi today. Hey, Dave. Louis Grizzard of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution was the most influential writer for me, although I discovered him in his later years as a columnist and then read some of his books and sports articles. Not going to miss the WAPO sports section one little bit. Louis Grizzard, Coop, he was the sports editor of the AJC when he was 24, 25 years old.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I don't really know if people really, when they think of him, that they even think of him as a sports writer.
That's interesting.
What was the name of his book? He wrote a great autobiography, and I'm just paraphrasing the title. It was something like, if I ever get back to Georgia, I'm going to nail my feet to the ground. And some of the best lines he had were some of the titles of his books. That's funny to think about it. 180-degree turn. Did you see the news that Mickey Lolich has died today?
I did see that, yes.
Mickey Lolich, 85. He had been in hospice for a while. He was the star of the 1968 World Series for the Detroit Tigers. In 1968, the buzz around the Tigers, of course, was Denny McLain winning 31 games. But Mickey Lolich was the star of the World Series that year against the Cardinals. He threw 3 complete games in the 68 World Series, including Game 7 on the road against Bob Gibson and the Cardinals. He was a Met briefly. He pitched a little bit in the National League. Didn't he play? Was he a Padre for a while, too? Anyway.
That I'm not sure of, yeah.
Great pitcher. Absolutely great pitcher. And that news is coming through today that Mickey Lolich has died at the age of 85. We'll get Jeff Erickson in here in a bit. You know what? This might be the first time we've ever had Jeff on to talk about a trade. The James Harden thing went down last night, so he is officially leaving the Clippers and is the newest member of the Cleveland Cavaliers, so we'll get into that.
How about us being sort of on that, huh?
Oh, yeah.
We talked about it.
Yeah,
right?
we talked about that. Hey, man, that story popped up out of nowhere.
Right.
I mean, literally, that started on Monday, and now he's a Cav.
It's just so strange how the NBA is like that now, where guys can basically on demand ask to be traded or whatever, and it happens fairly quick.
Man, tomorrow is one of the toughest days of the year for me. It's trying to keep up with the NBA trading deadline tomorrow. So there'll be a lot of dudes that'll be moving back and forth tomorrow. Let's get into the sound of sports. Start with college basketball. WVU visits Cincinnati tomorrow night. Mountaineers are coming off a home loss to Baylor. They haven't scored more than 59 points in each of their last 3 games. WVU's Jasper Floyd had these ideas on getting off to better starts.
I think it's more of coming from like a schematic standpoint. By start faster, we have mental lapses with this certain scouting report errors, and then on the that's on the defensive end really, and then on the offensive end, it's more, we're like not really sure what we're supposed to do to begin the game, which I think is kind of normal. You trying to figure out ways to open up the game, how the defense is playing you. So I think it's more of just locking into scouting report.
All right, after tomorrow night's game at Cincinnati, WV will host Texas Tech on Super Bowl Sunday. Tony Caridi, by the way, will be here at 5:33 to talk about the old gold and blue. Marshall's in action tonight at the Henderson Center in Huntington, hosting Southern Miss. The Herd is currently favored by 9.5. Marshall's won 3 of their last 4, 7 of their last 10. Here's Courtney Jackson. He says it's been a different player every night stepping up.
It's some time for somebody else to step up.
Yeah, I hope it does. We've been preaching it all year as a staff, just having the next man up mentality. We believe in each guy, 1 through 15, and you never know You know, you never know when your number's going to get called. I called Kai's number. He didn't know. The coaching staff, nobody knew at Texas State. And I said, man, you know what? Those guys that was Kai's type of game. They were playing hard. They were physical. They were being aggressive. So I'm looking on the bench, and I'm like, okay, who's that guy that can bring that, right? And it was Kai. The funny part about it is when I called his name, he kind of jumped. Like he was surprised. But again, he's another guy, man, that just shows up and works and works and works. And you never know when your opportunity is going to come. And he was ready for it. And he, like I said, he changed the momentum of the game for us.
Southern Miss has lost 2 straight, but the Golden Eagles get to the line with regularity. Southern Miss is second in the Sun Belt with just over 17 free throws attempted a game. In the Big East last night, in Hartford, UConn's Silas Demery had 17, and the third-ranked Huskies drilled Xavier 92-60 to stay unbeaten in conference play.
Demery's hit 2 threes. Into Reed. Demery. Work of art, Silas. Says it all about the top of the country in this sport that there's a number 3 next to their name. Caravan again. It's 50.
All right, so huge one coming up on Friday. UConn faces St. John's and MSG on Friday night. The Huskies have won 18 straight, third longest winning streak in UConn history. UConn's now 12-0 in Big East games, third best start in conference play in 30 years. And in the MAC last night in Amherst, number 23 Miami moved to 23-0. With a 73-71 win over the Buffalo Bulls. UB had a 3-point shot at the horn that would have knocked Miami from the ranks of the unbeaten.
Chance at the buzzer, Sable short. And the Red Hawks escape again against the Bulls. A 73-71 win.
Miami's 73 points last night. That was a season low. The Red Hawks from the MAC lead the nation in scoring at nearly 94 points a game. Marshall gets a shot at unbeaten Miami on Saturday at 4 o'clock in Huntington in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. In the NHL last night, in New York, the Islanders, Bo Horvat scored his second goal of the game 52 seconds into overtime, and the Islanders beat the Pens 5-4. Penguins have lost back-to-back games after winning 6 in a row.
Novak, flung in by Kulak. He's got it. Brett Kulak off a stick, off Schaefer, jailbreak. It's Horvat. Is the game on his stick? We'll see. He scores! Bo Horvat wins it in overtime.
The Pens will stay on the road, and they'll take on the Sabres in Buffalo tomorrow night with the Olympic break looming. And in Philadelphia, the Caps were losers, 4-2 to the Flyers. Game tied at 2 with just over 5 minutes to play. Jamie Drysdale scored on the power play to snap a 20-game goalless streak for Philadelphia.
Zegras spins to the corner with it. Across for Brink. Brink the shot. Save, rebound. Oh, it didn't go. As Konechny fired, it may have gone off the outside of the post. Here's Zegras back. Drysdale leans into one. They score! Power play goal gives the Flyers the lead late in the third.
All right, that's going to do it for the Sound of Sports. We'll take a break, and we'll talk to Jeff Erickson from RotoWire in just a minute. Stay tuned.
Metro News Hotline, brought to you by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Dyke Wealth Enhancement Group is now Wealth Enhancement, and we craft detailed financial plans for people like you because you're building your retirement your way. You deserve advice that's built to handle what your life brings. To meet with your Dyke team advisor, call us at 304-443-4240 or email Stike-info at wealthenhancement.com.
Start your new year off right with a new ride from Dan Cava GMC. Come explore our 2026 GMC Acadias. Spacious, smooth, and made for everyday life. It's truly a fan favorite. Drive into winter with a new 2026 GMC Sierra, now up to $12,000 off, or lease as low as $499 a month. So upgrade your ride this year with us at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thora.
On the next State of Minds.
My dad always said, don't let any one individual control your destiny, what you do, what your value is. And I wasn't about to let Paterno do that to me. I mean, it was just a phenomenal time, my first game, and to be accepted as a Mountaineer.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
All right, welcome back to the show. About 14 minutes till the hour. Jeff Erickson from RotoWire is going to join us here in a minute, but that gives me a chance to get you updated on some of the deals that are happening in the NBA. Now, officially, the trading deadline is tomorrow. Two deals here. One involving the Clippers, the Nets, and the Raptors. Chris Paul. Remember, Chris Paul basically walked away from the Clippers, and now he is going to play for the Toronto Raptors. So Chris Paul to the Raptors. That's kind of interesting, actually. And you know what? We just passed the year anniversary of the deal where Anthony Davis got traded from the Lakers to the Mavs in what people are saying may be one of the worst trades of all time. Well, now AD's coming to the Wizards. 8-player deal, and the biggest name in the deal is Anthony Davis. So, man, the Wizards are overhauling their roster as well. So, Anthony Davis, AD to the Washington Wizards. Cool. Do we have Jeff Erickson? Hey, Jeff, how you doing today?
Doing all right. Yourself?
Well, I'm trying to get a hold of, get my mind wrapped around all these deals. You know, and I was listening to your show today talking about the James Harden thing. So Harden now is a member of the Cavs. Man, is it my imagination, or did this thing, like, blow up within, like, the last 72 hours?
Yeah, and I think they kept op security pretty well for the first week of that. I guess it started about a week to 10 days ago, and then, yeah, it did absolutely blow up. Caught me off guard because after a miserable start, the Clippers had actually turned things around a little bit. But you look at the state of the Western Conference in the NBA. You look at Oklahoma City, you look at the Spurs, you look at Minnesota even, you look at Denver. These are all teams that are far better situated for making a run in the playoffs, having an actual chance to win a championship. The Clippers, as currently constructed, probably not, and they were the oldest team in the NBA. So something had to change. They don't even have a first-round pick next year. Oklahoma City has that. It's the last gift that kept on giving in the Paul George deal there. And it's probably going to be a pretty good pick now, too. So, you know, they had to find a way to kind of just restart this whole thing. So I think there's other ramifications. I think you might start seeing Kawhi Leonard sit a little bit here and more, which is devastating for one of my fantasy leagues, although I got him at a discount to begin with, so I can't really complain. But I think that it's an acknowledgement the Clippers can only go so far as they were.
Yeah, to talk about this deal from a fantasy perspective, normally when James Harden gets traded to a team that's usually good for centers, I mean, normally their production increases, but this is going to hurt Donovan Mitchell's production from a fantasy perspective. I mean, he was basically carrying the Cavs offensively.
The funny thing is he's happy with this deal, I think. But
yeah.
I also have Donovan Mitchell. I have one fantasy basketball league, Dave, and I have both Kawhi and Mitchell. So I'm nervously watching to see how it's going to affect these guys. And they play each other tonight, too, by the way. So that nice little footnote on the story there. But, yeah, 36 hours ago, we were kind of lamenting how quiet the trade deadline has been. And in the last 12 hours, it's completely blown up.
Two quick things before we move on to other stuff. I couldn't believe this when I heard this morning, that this is the fourth time. Think about this. I mean, James Harden's going to the he's going to the Basketball Hall of Fame the moment he's eligible, right? But this is the fourth in-season time he's been traded. Fourth time he's been dealt in season. The other point was that he goes essentially 1-for-1 with Garland, although there's a second-round pick also involved. In terms of all-stars being traded for each other, this is the widest difference in ages for a trade of this kind. So, it's a pretty interesting thing. And as I said, there's a break. Oh, do you remember in terms of fantasy basketball, there was a point where Chris Paul was like one of the most valuable players you could ever have. His value now with the Raptors is essentially nothing, right?
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but you hate to see careers end that way. Willie Mays on the Mets was the canonical example of and obviously Paul has never been at the level of Willie Mays, but players finishing their careers on teams that you're not used to. Steve Carlton kind of went that way. The Steve Carlton retirement path, something that was termed as a term of art from my friend Ron Chandler, who started Baseball HQ, where you don't realize how many franchises these elite players have ended up with at the end of their careers as they kind of play out the string.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about baseball. And
yes.
Eugenio Suarez coming back to the Reds, where he is going to be primarily the DH. He had a great season last year, 49 home runs in the regular season, had 3 bombs in the postseason. What kind of numbers are you projecting for him coming back to Cincinnati?
So I think he could be a 40-homer guy again. He had a 49-homer season last year. Despite hitting 111 in T-Mobile Park in Seattle, he did better on the road for the Mariners. But his second half numbers were killed by that trade, and he still made it to 49 homers. He did it once in Cincinnati as well. I won't project him that high, but there's a pretty high power upside there, and you don't have to worry about defense. The Reds have copious alternatives, so what if he's a bad defender at third base? They have Brian Hayes, for crying out loud. Hayes will probably play a lot still at third base. Just let Suarez hit. What this does is it gives them a power bat in the middle of the lineup. It takes some pressure off of Ellie in particular. I think that's pretty big. I hope it doesn't ace Sal Stewart out of playing time. That's the thing I fear a little bit. Stewart's got to hit the ground running in April because Tito will probably have a pretty quick hook if he doesn't.
Yeah, from a fantasy perspective, the addition of Suarez to the Reds lineup probably lowers expectations for Stewart and maybe Steer as well.
Yep, and even Noelvi Marte. They can move Steer over to right field if necessary. Marte, remember, was losing some playing time in September when he got through a little bit of a slump. It makes the Reds very right-handed, though, Dave. Stevenson behind the plate is a right-handed hitter. Obviously, Suarez is a right-handed hitter. Steer, Stewart, Marte, all right-handed hitters. Matt McClain is a right-handed hitter. It puts, there's not too many lefty hitters. There's Ellie, who's a switch hitter. There's T.J. Friedel, and then maybe an outfield platoon of some sort there where J.J. Bleday or Will Benson get involved in the mix if you want to get another lefty bat in there. That's the only negative I would say.
Got about a minute here, but we might as well keep talking about Suarez coming back to the Mets. Well, to the Reds, rather. There's chatter that, he might see a little bit of action at third base, and there's always injuries. Do you think there's a possibility that he could see enough playing time at first base to maybe get eligibility over there?
I'd say more likely first than third at this point in his career, yes.
Really?
I think that's the most likely scenario there. He's earned his negative defensive reputation at third base. Although Sal Stewart completely worked at first base this offseason. That's what they wanted him focusing on. So maybe it is Suarez. I don't discount the possibility I'm wrong here.
Hey, finally, I think a lot of people were really surprised that the Reds were able to get him on a one-year deal for just $15 million. You got any insight on why his value dropped off a cliff the way it did? I think most people thought he was going to get a multi-year deal with a lot more money.
I think so, but I think the market kind of went away after Alonso signed. Suarez doesn't provide much defensive help, and I think teams are looking more for players that can do that. I think they're also worried about a collapse risk. The strikeout rate did increase again last year, and that is always of a concern.
Yeah, they've got to leave it there. Jeff, thanks for jumping on with us. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and we'll talk next week.
Anytime. Thanks, Dave.
All right, Jeff Erickson from RotoWire. Let's take a break. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 1 in a minute.
Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
You want to know what West Virginia is talking about?
It's good to be back in Morgantown today.
Now it's different.
I think it's mostly just business.
What I voted for and what I think makes the most sense.
Well, Dave, this has been a bit of a controversy.
I want to thank the caller last week that said I sounded like Hoppy Kurtzwell. That was flattering.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talkline on Metro News Television.
Trojan Landing Marine is now Charleston's newest power sports dealership.
We now feature a full line of sleek Suzuki street bikes and four-wheelers. We're now offering the innovative riding experience of Benda motorcycles. The next step in motorcycle evolution with all-electric Zero high-performance bikes. We've now got Segway vehicles starting as low as $10,000. Come in and check out our great selection of high-quality Benelli and Royal Enfield bikes. Visit Trojan Landing in Charleston, now your water, road, and dirt dealership.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. Panhandle Cleaning and
All right, that's going to do it for the first hour. We'll take a break for news, come back, take a look at what happened on Wall Street. Alphabet's reporting after the bell. We'll reset our question of the day. Who are some of the sports writers that influenced your love of sports growing up in light of the fact that the Washington Post has gutted its sports department? That's official today. And Tom Bragg's here. We'll get into some Marshall stuff and more. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Lost him. And you know what? It was just about to get good, too. It was just getting good. We lost
Should
him.
we take the break and maybe he'll call back? I don't know.
You know what? We can take the break, and we can see if Ethan can reconnect with him, because I want to hear where he goes with that answer. I don't know. CJ, I'm just saying, we just started bringing up some deep stuff, and then it gets cut off. Is the Illuminati listening to the show? Just saying.
Welcome back to the show. 3 minutes away from 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
That's it. I'm going home.
Dang, man.
See ya.
I wouldn't even be on the air on any of our stations before 8 o'clock. I don't know where that came from. Reading, it's hard.
Well, I think when you have a... I'll say in all candor, when you're in a foreign country and a monkey in a diaper sitting on your head, you're asking for trouble.
Discussion can end there. That's right. Boom. It's a definitive statement on the issue. Now we move on.
So how many times have you thought about that was a bad idea that I had a monkey on my head since you had the monkey on your head?
Every time I go visit Dr. Pellegrino, my personal doctor. Do you know what it's like to tell your doctor that?
Well, yeah, Doc, I also had a monkey. Excuse me? Had a monkey on my head with a diaper on. Imagine that's the first time Dr. Ron has ever heard that one. He's probably heard a lot of things.
He's heard a lot. Yeah, Dr. Ron has.
He's one of the great West Virginians. He's up there from the Northern Panhandle.
He's awesome.
Tremendous.
Yeah, Dr. Ron. Good dude.
We were talking in my office a little earlier, and a phrase that Ryan used that I was really kind of gobsmacked over. He started a sentence with me. He said, "We were watching football on Thursday."
I know, he did the same thing to me. He did this. Is this like Earth 2?
I said, what?
He came back and started telling me about the Cowboys and the Chiefs game. You were watching the Lions game on Thanksgiving Day.
Well,
what happened? What happened to our little Ryan?
Well, when my Uncle Bill and my Uncle Chris asked if I want to watch football with them, I don't say no.
Okay.
So because I'm not a I'm not a recluse anymore.
So if you have uncles that are big sports fans, do you get some creds? Are you like, hey, I'm actually kind of sports show, it's syndicated.
Well, I don't.
Statewide.
Well, I don't want this to be a sports show.
Second game this season that Honors had 8 threes. Second time he's had 8 threes, and his coach has pulled him out with over 4 minutes to go.
You're up 40.
Yeah, but coach just does not want to see him get that record.
There may have been a discussion about that on exactly where he was in the number.
Did you let him know this time?
But there was a discussion about where he was with the number. But at the end of the day, Ross decided the juice not worth the squeeze there. With 3.5 minutes left is when he pulled him out after the timeout there. And that's a guy with a lot of minutes on his in his body. You need to rest him. But 2 out of 11, you got to think maybe he's going to approach that again. Here's what's wild. In those 2 games where he's just been one off of Alex Ruoff's record, he's now a combined 16 of 20 from 3 in those 2 games. So he didn't just make 8 threes, guys. He was 8 of 11 last night. He was 8 of 9 when he did it before. 16 of 20 combined in those 2 games.
Across this great state of West Virginia, welcome in high school game nights. I chuckle a little bit, folks, because it said early edition.
As compared to the rest of the edition, yeah.
Tonight is going to be interesting, to say the least.
10 seconds remaining.
Going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back, it's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10, 5, end zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up. and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
You had a moment of clarity about when it all started to make sense for you?
It did, because I didn't want to be a filmmaker growing up. I didn't even know what filmmaking was growing up. I used to watch Oprah and Katie Couric, and that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be you. And I worked at West Virginia University's radio station. I had a very thick accent. People would call in and make fun of me. And so I asked my roommates, my college roommates who are from Baltimore, to teach me how to talk differently. Really? Yeah. And it's a loss, I feel, from that. And it's probably one of the reasons why I love documenting people that are authentic. Like, I don't know if I'm authentic, but I think the people I find are very authentically who they are, and that's what draws me to them.
This is Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law. Metro News Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour.
Navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more.
From a Mountain State point of view, Hotline is a no politics zone.
You can join the conversation.
Text the show at 304-825-5304.
304-TALK-304.
Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekley.
All right, welcome back to the show. Hour number 2, How Do You Do? Metro News Hotline, keeping you company here in West Virginia in the afternoons on the Metro News Radio Network right up until 6 o'clock. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in today. 30 degrees here in Charleston as we operate out of our flagship 580 WCHS this afternoon. Tom Bragg's here from 580 WCHS. How's the weather? How'd you do coming in?
It's not too bad. The roads that are cleared are fine. They're in fine shape. Coming in from South Charleston off Montrose, everything was clear. Yesterday about 5 o'clock wasn't the case, but they've been out. They've been doing some work. It's not bad out there.
I was going to ask you about up on the hill what it was like yesterday or last night.
Once it started to stick, because it felt like it snowed all day long and nothing really stuck. But right around 4:30 or so, I looked outside. I was like, oh, it's starting to stick a little bit. By 5 o'clock, it was just slushy ice everywhere until the trucks ran.
It's not too bad now. So we will do a quick check on what happened in the financial markets today, reset our question of the day, talk to Tom about some high school stuff, maybe get a Super Bowl pick, and there's a lot of Marshall stuff today, so we're going to get into all that. That's coming up in a sec. A little bit later on in this half hour, we will have the entertainment report. 4:33, Abrar Al-Heeti will be here. We'll do a tech news segment. In the markets, Google reporting after the bell, the numbers look pretty good. Winning beat expectations on revenues, on earnings per share. Despite that, the stock is selling off a little, trading now at around $325 a share. And that reminds me, Matt Harris from Huntington Bank will be here with Money Minutes tomorrow. That's always a lot of fun. So Matt joins us once a month. Shelley Hustle's here once a month. So that'll be Money Minutes tomorrow from Huntington Bank. That'll be at 3:45. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at what did happen in the financial markets today. The Dow was up 0.5%, tacked on 260 points. The Dow closing at 49,501. S&P 500 was down 0.5%, lost 35 points, 68.82 at the close. NASDAQ was down 1.5%. The software sell-off continues. NASDAQ was down 350 points today. NASDAQ closing at 22,904. Among stocks of local interest to West Virginia that were big percentage gainers or losers today, DuPont was up 5.5%, gained $2.50, 47.80 at the close. FMC up 4%, tacked on 64 cents, 16.69 at the close. Regional banks having a good day. The aforementioned Huntington Bank, almost up 4% today. Huntington Bank adding 72 cents, end of the session at $19.11. In the energy space, oil continues to creep up. Oil up 1.9%, added $1.19. WTI on the NYMEX at $64.40. And natural gas, which has been all over the map the last couple of weeks, today up 4.8%. Added 16 cents, $3.47 per unit at the moment. The current trading session will end at 5 o'clock Eastern, and then you'll be able to get right back in there and trade natural gas beginning at 6 o'clock. All right, here's our question of the day. And the question of the day has to do with journalism. Has to do with journalism today. And so the news today about the Washington Post. The Washington Post laid off about 300 people today, 1/3 of its entire staff, and eliminated its sports section entirely. So here's the question of the day, and it's sponsored by Salango Law. Who are the sports writers that impacted your love of sports growing up? And what's your reaction to the news today that the Post is dropping its sports section altogether? Who are the sports writers that impacted your love of sports? And what's your reaction to the news that the Washington Post is dropping its sports section? To respond, text those in. 304-TALK, 304-304-8255, 304. You can reach me on Exit Weekly, WEEKLEY, one word, 3 E's, WEEKLEY. Tom, I think we'll probably have to start with that. Who were the guys that influenced you when you were growing up, sports writers?
Oh, gosh. Well, it pointed me in the direction of joining that career just locally. I think about guys like Jody Jividan or Mike Cherry or Ernie Salvatore down in Huntington. You get a chance to read Mickey every now and then down here. And just all the guys from the local papers. I mean, that's what you grew up reading around here. At least that's what I did. And I was a paper boy, so we had plenty of access to all the papers. It was just what you did. I think I've been thinking about that question since I heard you mention it earlier. But yeah, Mike and Jody probably top of the list for the guys I really liked to read when I was a kid.
The other thing is, when you're thinking about being a sports writer, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, hey, maybe if my career gets a little traction, maybe a byline at the Washington Post would be like a goal.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen.
No, I had one. I got an AP story with a byline in it one time on the Holyfield fight down at the Greenbrier.
Nice.
several years ago, but just really sad and disgusting what happened to the Washington Post sports department today. You think of where the industry is completely different, if not for guys like Tony Kornheiser and Mike Wilbon doing what they did, making the transition into TV. Well, that was all based on them being just legends at the Washington Post, and to see an institution like that go down, it's a bad time for the industry and has been for a number of years, but a particularly dark day today.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a couple of things about Marshall. Marshall's got a basketball game tonight at against Southern Miss at the CAM. It's a conference game. Marshall is right in the race. I think they're 4th right now.
I believe so, yeah.
In the Sun Belt. Is there any chance that they could be looking past this game tonight against Southern Miss, where they're nearly a 10-point favorite, because they know that they're going to be hosting 23-0 Miami on Saturday at the CAM?
I sure hope not. The Southern Miss game is infinitely more important than the Miami game, any way you look at it. Marshall's kind of treading water, keeping its head above the water right now in terms of conference play. You win one, you lose one. It was a good win at Arkansas State. You want to build a little momentum in the conference because it's got that weird conference tournament where it seems like every rung up the ladder you go, as far as the table is concerned, you get an extra bye in the tournament. So every game, every spot is so important in the Sun Belt. And the Miami game, look, it's a Miami game. Marshall fans love to beat Miami. They hate to lose to them. So having them come in undefeated for this MAC Sun Belt thing is awesome. Don't get me wrong. But, also you're trying to build a little momentum, and of all the years to get the best Miami team since Wally Zerbiak, maybe coming in undefeated, this is the time you get them. That's a rough draw for Corny and the boys. But it's a big game. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's really only a big game for Marshall if you can beat them and you become the team that made them not undefeated anymore. Otherwise, it's as big as a MAC Sunbelt crossover game can be, I guess.
Miami has been walking a fine line here. Now, they won by 2 points last night against Buffalo, Buffalo has not been playing well. They nearly lost to Northern Illinois. They only scored 74 points last night. That's about 20 below their average. There haven't been that many opportunities for Marshall to get a nationally ranked team on their home floor.
Yeah.
You know, and
it doesn't happen often. It's a cool quirk of the schedule.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, and it's a winnable game too. I don't think this is some juggernaut 23 or 22-0 coming in with no chance for Marshall. It's not like when Memphis used to come in back in the day. Miami is not Memphis. They're good. Don't get me wrong. You don't get to this point unbeaten if you're not pretty good, and if you're not also kind of lucky, which I think they've been the last few times out. It's a winnable game for Marshall, but I think in terms of stature, the game tonight much more important than the one on Saturday.
I'm just thinking about games of importance in the CAM. When you talk about ranked teams that Marshall has beaten, you know, they beat Wichita State in the NCAA tournament when they were ranked. They beat West Virginia when in the Ronnie Don game.
Ronnie Don game. Don't say that name up north.
When WVU was ranked, but that game was in Charleston.
Yeah. They got him like Shaq Johnson and Terrell Baines and Tyler Wilkerson got him a couple times too. But in Huntington, I mean, I mentioned the Memphis games a couple minutes ago. Those are the ones that immediately come to mind. Mid to late 2000s when Calipari was still at Memphis, the Derrick Rose team, the Chris Douglas Roberts team that came in, they were really good. That was a fun game. Hurd played them tough too. Came up short, missed some foul shots down the stretch. But since then, there have been a handful here or there. I know there was a couple years where UTEP and Marshall had a pretty good thing going, and UTEP was really good. There were some really good crowds in Huntington for that. Since joining the Sun Belt, this is probably as big as it's been for Marshall.
I'm thinking, you know, Marshall had a top 10 win against Maryland when Lefty was there. But that's, man,
we're talking decades ago.
Way back. Way back. So, that's going to be an interesting situation. Yeah. So, and that's an ESPN Plus game. You know, so this is not going to be a nationally televised game, but that is Saturday at 4:00. You know, look at me. I'm already looking past this game tonight against Southern Miss. I think that's a really interesting situation. The other thing that's happened in Marshall-wise today that I don't want to overlook, and somebody sent this to me, Marshall is ranked 4th in the Sun Belt Conference preseason baseball poll that came out today.
That's a coach's poll, I believe, and that feels about right after the season the Herd had last year. And we talked about it at length last spring, just how Beals, it took a while to get the train on the tracks and pointed the right direction, but it seems like things are going well. They're not world beaters. They're probably not going to be a team that gets picked to go to the NCAA tournament or host or do anything like that, but they're going to be a pretty good team, and they're going to be tough to deal with in a really good conference in the Sun Belt. 4th feels about right for just in terms of the respect they've earned versus the respect that they're trying to get still.
So Coastal Carolina is the pick, understandably so, to win the Sun Belt in the year after they went to the College World Series in Omaha.
Maybe should have won it.
Yeah, probably should have won it. But here's the other thing too. I mean, when was the last time Marshall was ranked this highly in a college conference baseball poll? I mean, it never happened in Conference USA.
I maybe there was a couple years with Wags where there were some kind of high expectations and they.
But never as high as 4th, right?
I don't know. I would have to go back and look. But, I mean, there were some thin years in Conference USA, too, when Rice kind of fell off. Southern Miss wasn't what Southern Miss was and currently is. You know, the team, East Carolina held up that league for several years. So, I mean, getting picked 3rd or 4th in Conference USA in the late 2010s, or early 2010s, I mean, that doesn't mean you were a good team back then. I don't know. No. I would have to go look at it. But, yeah, 4th is certainly in the Sun Belt. A good spot to be in for Marshall.
Can you basically say that this is the result of finally having an on-campus stadium to play in?
Yeah, it absolutely is. Absolutely. I mean, we talked for years about how when they finally get that stadium, the excuses are going to be gone. We're going to have to see some product on the field that resembles good baseball. They got the stadium, and here we are. It's just the next step in the process. They're doing it the way they're supposed to. They really kind of followed the blueprint of the folks up in Morgantown with their new stadium and Coach Mazey coming in.
That's true.
And kind of turned things all around, and it wasn't overnight, and it took them a couple years. And they're still, I mean, they're perennially a tournament team every year now, but they're still trying to break through. There's still progress to be made up in Morgantown. I think you're seeing similar things in Huntington. They're just a little further back on the track. They got a little later start.
Marshall officially announcing today their National Signing Day class of 2026. So this is another huge group. high school signees, 15 players, transfer signees, 27 guys. So it's like it's name tag city again.
Yeah.
And that's just life in the G5.
Yeah, like I said in the break too, like let's see them in pads and on campus going to class before I load all of their information into my brain, because there's just so many guys coming and going right now. And the spring roster is no guarantee either. It'll be interesting to see how the spring plays out for Marshall, but you got to take the spring with a grain of salt, more so than you ever did before. Just because someone's hanging around doing spring ball with your team does not mean they will be there in the fall. So it'll be interesting to watch how that plays out.
We knew when Tony Gibson got to Marshall that he was going to try to focus on local talent, and this high school list basically points that out. I mean, Aiden Burke from Mingo Central's on this list. Mason Ramsey from Huntington is on this list. There's a host of former WVU players that are on this list.
I think it's smart too the way he's doing it. You've got to keep those connections with the local high school programs, with the local high school coaches, not just so that you can get these 15 guys that signed today, but so the 30 guys that went out of state to go play when in a semester or 2 or 3 or whenever they decide to transfer, and they all do. Maybe Tony Gibson's got something for them back in Huntington. Maybe their high school coach can help pave that. So it's the long game. It's not just about who you're getting at the end of 12th grade. It's about who you're getting after their sophomore or junior year once they go off to college. And Gibson's, I think, playing that long game right now.
I'm looking at this list, and I got to ask you, I mean, we focus on quarterbacks because they get the most attention. Can Khalil Wilkins, who started games at West Virginia, can he beat out Carlos Del Rio Wilson? Is that possible?
Or if Del Rio Wilson's not healthy, we saw last season. I mean, he played like a warrior last year, but it was, there were pieces hanging off of him by the end of the season.
Yes.
If he can't stay healthy, then I think Wilkins absolutely has a route to play some significant snaps for Marshall in the fall. And I think it really shows, like, high school recruiting and quarterbacks, why even bother? Anyway, why look around the country, look at the landscape. Nobody that's any good, with rare exception, is being led by a quarterback that they nurtured and developed from 12th grade on up through their program. Every quarterback is going in the portal. Everybody's shopping quarterbacks every year. It's just ridiculous. Like, don't recruit high school quarterbacks anymore.
Hey, so how much high school basketball you been doing?
And really, since the freeze last week, none. But we've got some lined up. We've got GW South Charleston tomorrow night on 580, and Hoover Sissonville on Friday, and I'll have to double check. I believe that's on 96.1, and Coop maybe could correct me. Is it 96.1 or 580 on Friday?
What do you think?
Both? Hey, simulcast, so we're all over the place on Friday.
Coop, he gets paid double for those games, right? When it's on 2. Hey, man, before I get you out of here, I've been trying to get Coop to get Olympic fever.
Okay,
and it's just not happening.
Okay, I'm not there yet, but I'm trying. I love.
What about Olympic hockey, man?
I love the Olympics. Are they actually going to play in that little cracker box that they built in Milan? Like, I'm excited. I'm not excited, but I'm interested to see the opening ceremony in the San Siro, the big soccer stadium in Milan that AC Milan and Inter Milan share. For American fans, that's where Christian Pulisic plays his home soccer games, so that'll be fun to see. Olympic hockey, speed skating, you got the bobsled, the skiing. Winter Olympics, I think, get slept on. Summer is the big show, and rightfully so, but there's a lot of cool stuff that goes on at the Winter Olympics. I was getting there. I'm jazzed up now. I'm ready for it. Yes.
Thank you, because I just kind of feel like, Coop, I've been doing the heavy lifting for the Olympic coverage over here. I mean, I asked you about it and got a big yawn. And yesterday, Dave Allen told me he doesn't even like the Summer Olympics.
I like to think that I balanced my inner engagement with it yesterday. I wasn't being overly pessimistic about it. I just talk about how I look for the story. There's no event that I follow. I look for the story. So if there's an athlete that's having a real good Olympics or some other story, like I would follow Simone Biles when she was at the peak of her game.
Lindsey Vonn just shredded her ACL and is going to try to compete.
Right,
yep.
So I'll probably check that out. When Phelps was winning all those golds, I would watch that. I mean, I like the stories, but there's no event that I have to be like, man, I'm going to sit down and watch that event. I have to see what the athletes are doing.
Fair enough.
All right, got to leave it there. Tom, good to see you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming in.
We'll do an Olympic check-in next week.
Yeah, absolutely we will. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with the Entertainment Report in a minute.
Don't forget about our podcast. Check out your favorite podcast provider or simply go to WVMetroNews.com and click on the podcast link. This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
Start your new year off right with a new ride from Dan Cava GMC. Come explore our 2026 GMC Acadias. Spacious, smooth, and made for everyday life. It's truly a fan favorite. Drive into winter with a new 2026 GMC Sierra, now up to $12,000 off, or lease as low as $499 a month. So upgrade your ride this year with us at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thora.
Coming to Parkersburg High School, February 6th and 7th. Who are the toughest men and women in the state of West Virginia? Watch Tough Man live on Metro News Television to find out. Featured fights, top 5 finishes, and event archives. Download Metro News Television on iPhone, iPad, Android, Roku, LG TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Find out more at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Trojan Landing Marine is now Charleston's newest power sports dealership.
We now feature a full line of sleek Suzuki street bikes and four-wheelers. We're now offering the innovative riding experience of Benda motorcycles. The next step in motorcycle evolution with all-electric Zero high-performance bikes. We've now got Segway vehicles starting as low as $10,000. Come in and check out our great selection of high-quality Benelli and Royal Enfield bikes. Visit Trojan Landing in Charleston, now your water, road, and dirt dealership.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
This Sunday is the biggest day in men's football, Super Bowl 60. Yes, the Super Bowl is 60, which explains why the game is sponsored by Day of the Week Pillbox. You know their slogan, one of these better be for depression.
All right, for 4:28 on the show, almost halfway home on this edition, and we'll have Abrar Al-Heeti in here for a tech news segment coming up in about 5 minutes. And don't forget, we just did a segment about Marshall sports. Tony Caridi will be here reporting live from Cincinnati at 5:33 today as West Virginia gets ready to take on the Bearcats tomorrow in Cincinnati, Ohio. All right, time now for Talkin' TV and more. Here are the latest entertainment headlines from ABC.
ABC Entertainment News.
It's a How I Met Your Mother reunion on this season of Apple TV's Shrinking, as Colby Smulders takes on a larger role opposite star Jason Segel. Segel says their characters have a special connection because he and Smulders have known each other in real life for over 20 years.
Like, that's sort of like what a soulmate is supposed to feel like you've only just met, but you've known each other forever. So I think that was the magic trick of the casting.
Season 3, Episode 2 of Shrinking is streaming now.
We're so back.
Backstreet Boys are the latest pop stars to book a Super Bowl commercial. They'll star in an ad for T-Mobile during the big game on February 8th. Meanwhile, Pringles has tapped Sabrina Carpenter for its Super Bowl ad. The American Idol universe is expanding. Starting March 30th, the show will stream live on Disney+, in addition to airing on ABC. Plus, an official American Idol podcast will debut on Disney Plus and Hulu. Disney is the parent company of ABC News. Andrea Dresdale, ABC News.
Andrea, thank you. Tonight on ABC, it's the season finale of Shifting Gears at 8 o'clock, and Netflix making news today. They have renewed Ted Danson's series, A Man on the Inside, for a third season. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. The man charged in the Thanksgiving Eve shooting of West Virginia National Guard members Sarah Beckstrom and Andrew Wolf will remain in jail without bail, with a future court appearance set for early May. Ramanula Lackenwall appeared in U.S. District Court in Washington, D.C. today for an arraignment on 9 federal charges, including the murder of Army Guard Specialist Beckstrom. Lackenwall's case was transferred from D.C. Court to federal court to keep the chance for the death penalty in place. WVU President Michael T. Benson telling state lawmakers today they need air conditioning in Hope Coliseum to use it all year long. It's a $23 million project.
We have other ways that we can hopefully address this really acute challenge for us right now, but it is one of the unique buildings in the state and one of the largest venues, and we all want to be able be able to use it throughout the year.
The talk of the Coliseum was part of Benson's budget presentation to members of the House Finance Committee. Marshall President Brad Smith also talked about projects on campus that need financial help, including the Marshall Science Building in Huntington.
In the spring when it gets hot, the hooding and ventilation system in our chemistry labs are insufficient for today's code, and so we many times have to cancel classes. It gets up to 116 degrees, and it's unsafe for students to be in those classes.
You can read more about both budget presentations in a story at our website right now, WVMetroNews.com. You're listening to Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Come on, Liam, let's go. Get open. Come on, go for it. Wake up. Wake up, Liam. Oh, come on, use your head. Gotta want it. Dominate.
There he goes again. Liam's dad yelling from the stands, trying to relive his glory days.
I know. We're just trying to have fun out here and play with our friends. Like, it's not that deep.
He seriously needs to get a grip.
Does he really think he's helping Liam play better?
I feel bad for Liam. I know he's embarrassed his dad ruins every game like this. I mean, I would be too.
Someone needs to tell him this isn't about him.
Yeah, stop trying to coach from the stands and just cheer.
That's what Liam wants.
That's what we all want.
Be your student's biggest fan, not their biggest critic. This message presented by the WVSSAC and the West Virginia Athletic Directors Association.
The National Weather Service says a winter storm watch has been posted for Barber, Nicholas, Pocahontas, Randolph, Upshur, and Webster counties from Friday morning through Saturday morning. They expect accumulating snow in those areas maybe as much as 7 inches. Metro News High School Sports Line tonight beginning at 7:06. Guests will include Princeton High School football standout Brad Mosser, the Metro News Player of the Year, who officially signed earlier today with WVU. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
Being isolated and lonely can be harmful to your health, resulting in high blood pressure, a greater risk of heart disease, and early onset dementia. So it's important to build and maintain social connections. Try a new hobby, volunteer, exercise, or use your phone or other device to stay in touch. Visit connecttoeffect.org to find resources and ways to stay connected. Presented by AARP Foundation with support from United Healthcare.
All right, welcome back to the show. All right, so it's a big day for sports and a big day for a media giant that used to cover sports. And, of course, I'm referring to the subject of our question of the day, the Washington Post. So let's do a quick reset on our question of the day. Then we'll do a tech news segment. Abrar Al-Heeti will join us. So the Washington Post officially laid off 1/3 of its staff today, eliminating its sports section. That's right. The Washington Post, going forward, is not going to have a sports section. That seems hard to believe. So here's the question of the day, and it is sponsored by Salango Law. Who are the sports writers that impacted your love of sports growing up? And what's your reaction to this news that the Washington Post is dropping its sports section altogether? Who are the sports writers that impacted your love of sports growing up? And what's your reaction to the news today that the Washington Post is dropping its sports section? To respond, text those in. 304-TALK, 304-304-8255-304. You could reach me on X2 at Weekly, WEEKLEY. One word, 3 E's, WEEKLEY. And we're getting some pretty interesting responses to this, and we will get to that in just a little bit. Although, Coop, I think next to Super Bowl 60, that's happening in Santa Clara on Sunday, maybe the biggest news I've heard this week is that Abrar Al-Heeti was able to get a Galaxy Z trifold phone.
Ooh, yeah.
So I have so many questions. What's it like to own a $3,000 phone? What's it like?
My goodness. It is, I try not to think about the fact that it costs so much because yesterday after I
Abrar, you with
unboxed
us?
it, yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, perfect. I try not to think about how ridiculously expensive it is because after unboxing it, I very unceremoniously tossed it into my backpack like it didn't cost that much money. To make me be a little bit more careful just to be safe. But it has been really a privilege to be able to use this phone that was very difficult to get a hold of. We had the entire mobile team was online at 7 a.m. when this dropped on Friday, trying to get our hands on it. And I was the only one that was successful. So that worked out. But yeah, definitely no pressure at all, but happy to share my insights with the world as I'm doing through this live blog on CNET.com and just sharing my musings as I play around with this trifold phone.
So I read this story, a couple of questions here. Number one, how did your fellow teammates react when you got the phone and they did not?
Well, it actually kind of worked out quite well because we were all trying to buy it for me to review. So it wasn't like whoever gets it gets to review it. So thankfully, we didn't have to be mad at each other or anything. But I've kind of happened to be the person who reviews phones that fold over the past couple years. So it worked out pretty well. I don't think anybody hates me, but if not, speak up now, I guess. Yeah.
Here's the other thing. I mean, spending $3,000 on a phone is kind of like the amount of money you might spend on a used car. So you mentioned in this story how much tax you paid. I mean,
yes.
So you're thinking, oh, $3,000, I got $3,000. It was closer to $3,200 after you pay all the taxes.
It was. And that was the thing is you don't realize, obviously, the more you pay for something, the more taxes you're paying. And then on top of that, the most California thing ever was there was a battery recycling fee on top of the taxes, just in case that wasn't already prohibitive enough. So yeah, my grand total was $3,164.05. So definitely not a phone that most people will be buying, safe to say. But also, given how limited Samsung supply is, this is not supposed to be a phone that anyone goes out and gets. It's supposed to be for business users, for people who are tech enthusiasts and really just want to, try out this new format. And so, yeah, that's why it's kind of so limited and hard to get our hands on.
Okay. Another question I had about this was, I started looking at my phone after I read the story about your phone. And I'm like, okay, this iPhone, Surrey is horrible. It barely works. But this thing still functions as a phone. When you pay almost $3,200 for a phone, your expectations, your expectation level has got to be pretty high, right?
Yes, it is high, and that's something that I'm kind of contending with as I'm using this. So I just unboxed it a little over 24 hours ago, and I haven't been able to really just spend a ton of time with it. But what I've observed so far is that it feels it feels, and I hope this doesn't come off as a bad thing, but it feels so ordinary that I have to then remind myself how extraordinary this thing is. And I think that's a testament to how developed the technology has become. A screen folding is no longer as shocking as it was 5 years ago, right? We've kind of gotten used to the idea that phones can have foldable screens. So I think that's a good thing, because if you were constantly reminded of how precious your phone was, maybe you'd never use it, right?
How about this? When you're in a crowd of people and somebody pulls out like the iPhone 17, it's like, hey, is that the 17? Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you had that moment yet where you're like in a crowd and you pull this thing out and other people want to know what it's about?
Yeah, I have a really terrible example of this, because yesterday, actually, you mentioned the Super Bowl. I actually got to go down to Levi Stadium yesterday and check out some of the tech that they're setting up there for the Super Bowl. And so I had the trifold in my backpack, and I took it out, and I realized that I had a bag of cookies where the crumbs had spread all over my backpack and therefore spread all over my $3,000 phone. So I took it out to immediately wipe it down, and somebody said, "Oh my God, look at you with that phone." And I said, "Yeah, and I've already almost destroyed it with cookie crumbs." So that's it's
Nice.
been I'm just throwing it into my life right off the deep end here. But yeah, some people have definitely, it's a phone that definitely stands out. So I'm sure I'll get more of that as I continue to use this.
All right. So, one manufacturer zigged. Now Apple's got a zag. You sent me a story where Apple's working on a clamshell version of their first foldable iPhone.
Yes, just in case we don't talk enough about foldable phones. So
Right.
Apple is already rumored to be developing a book style foldable, and potentially they could also be releasing a clamshell style phone. So think of those retro flip phones that we all loved once upon a time, that in an iPhone format. This is something that they likely wouldn't release until they release that book style phone, that thing that, has that larger screen that opens up like a book. So it seems like Apple is going to experiment with potentially both of those formats, the same way that Samsung does. And we'll see how people respond to that, because a lot of people have said, I would love a foldable phone, but I need it to be made by Apple because that brand allegiance is so strong.
Exactly. I mean, once you get into the ecosystem of Apple, it's kind of difficult to get out. All right. Well, now that you've got the Samsung Galaxy Z trifold, and you're making it work, and I'm seeing the pictures of you with the phone. It's the same size as a tablet. When you're back at your apartment, do you like kind of play with your old tablet just for old time's sake, or have you has this phone replaced that?
This is a great question. I've actually never owned a tablet. So now I get to see, do I like the idea of having something that's like a tablet? I mean, I did have a moment where I opened it up yesterday and looked at it and I said, gosh, this is really nice. And so I look forward to watching movies on that like 10-inch massive display, such a huge display for a phone, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to see if it makes me a tablet believer.
Oh, this story is, you know what? We do a couple of segments a month on sports collectibles, and you sent me this story about the $500 check that kickstarted Apple just sold for, wait for it, $2.4 million.
Naturally,
That's
as anything
insane.
related to Apple's early days will always do well at an auction. But yeah, it is incredible to think about how how much of a jump that is. This was a check that was written to a circuit board designer, allowed Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak to essentially develop that design of that circuit board for the Apple computer. And yeah, these auctions happen a lot. They'll always find something like an old job application from Steve Jobs, or an old Apple One or something, and it always will sell for millions of dollars. So this is no exception.
You know what? I really wasn't too clued into this world until I started watching that television show on Netflix, King of Collectibles. And there are Apple collectors that have every version of everything that buy not just to use, but because they feel that these things are going to gain value in the future, because everything of the early Apple generations have.
Absolutely. And what I love about the person who bought this check is they remained anonymous, but what they're doing is essentially creating a mini museum that they someday hope to open to the public that's full of stuff like this. And so hopefully someday those of us in the general public will get to see some of those items that have been purchased in auction. But yeah, there are people who just have these massive collections, some of them anonymous and some of them not.
And looking at the check, the first thing that you think about is, man, Woz and Steve Jobs had pretty darn good penmanship.
It is quite nice, isn't it?
Yes. It's very
Some tech
unusual.
bros. Yeah.
I mean,
cursive is on point.
The tech bros that we see every day, they don't sign checks like this.
They do not. No, I feel like this penmanship is extinct at this point. So this is a real throwback here.
Hey, finally, I wanted to ask you about the Wi-Fi that's now available on a quarter of all United Airline flights.
Yeah.
I think have we reached the point where we're expecting this? That when you book a ticket, you're anticipating that Wi-Fi is going to be on the plane.
Yes, and I kind of have the controversial take of not wanting Wi-Fi on the airplane because I like to escape this planet sometimes and just be disconnected. But people do expect to have, I think whenever there isn't Wi-Fi, even just regular Wi-Fi, not Starlink Wi-Fi, people will really freak out on a flight when they can't be connected. So I think this is a natural step to have Starlink on more flights, on more United flights and other flights from other airlines. It's just, kind of where we're headed. It's 2026. It's pretty standard, but I will be one of those people who will try to stay off of it because I think it's nice to unplug every now and then. Look out your window. The clouds are beautiful. Enjoy the view.
Oh, well, my thing is I always load up my phone with a whole bunch of stuff because I guess I just can't spend more than 5 minutes in silence, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's another thing.
But the other thing is, how many people on a flight normally, if the flight is packed, how many people on a flight when they're told to put their phone into airplane mode just don't do it? Just don't do it.
It's so true. And yet thankfully, it doesn't seem to affect anything too badly. I've heard it causes static on the pilot's end, so I do feel bad for them. But yeah, a lot of people don't do it. So clearly it can't be that bad, but still, it is advisable to trigger that.
Well, Coop, I'm going to say that Abrar is the first person I know that has this $3,000 phone. So how's the battery life on that thing?
So far, so good. I just set up an eSIM on it, so I'll be able to use it like out and about, and that will be the true test of how good the battery life is. I'm hoping it lasts well over a day. A day and a half would be ideal before I have to recharge it. So that's definitely going to be something that I keep you all posted on.
We're going to have to talk. Well, this is going to be a developing story, right? Literally, how many days have you had this phone?
Literally a day. So,
a day.
So more to come. Yes. It just came in yesterday.
The other thing is you've got to be really careful with it because there's no case for this, right?
There's a case that you can slap on the back, but you know how screens always get scratched up. I don't have a screen protector on it, so maybe I should get on that pretty quick. Yeah.
All right. Hey, Abrar, thanks for coming on the show. We'll talk more tech next week.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
Abrar Al-Heeti and her phone, the Galaxy Z Trifold. Almost $3,200. She's got one. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll open up the On the State file in a moment.
Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
You want to know what West Virginia is talking about?
It's good to be back in Morgantown today.
Now it's different.
I think it's mostly just business.
What I voted for and what I think makes the most sense.
Well, Dave, this has been a bit of a controversy.
I want to thank the caller last week that said I sounded like Hoppy Kercheval. That was flattering.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talkline on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. and they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Trojan Landing Marine is now Charleston's newest power sports dealership.
We now feature a full line of sleek Suzuki street bikes and four-wheelers. We're now offering the innovative riding experience of Benda motorcycles. The next step in motorcycle evolution with all-electric Zero high-performance bikes. We've now got Segway vehicles starting as low as $10,000. Come in and check out our great selection of high-quality Benelli and Royal Enfield bikes. Visit Trojan Landing in Charleston, now your water, road, and dirt dealership.
Start your new year off right with a new ride from Dan Cava GMC. Come explore our 2026 GMC Acadias. Spacious, smooth, and made for everyday life. It's truly a fan favorite. Drive into winter with a new 2026 GMC Sierra, now up to $12,000 off, or lease as low as $499 a month. So upgrade your ride this year with us at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thora.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
All right, welcome back to the show. Almost 9 minutes till the hour. Let's get into the On This Date file, and we will start with the birthdays. We'll start, as we always do, with the sports birthdays. Dennis Savard of the Blackhawks, one of the 100 greatest players in NHL history, 65 years old today. Lawrence Taylor, 67 years old today. Dan Plesac, known primarily for pitching for the Brewers, but he was also a Pirate for a while, 64 years old today. Oh, cool. The Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, having a birthday today. He's 53 years old. Oscar De La Hoya won championships in 6 weight classes. This is probably his best ever win when he beat Julio Cesar Chavez in the first fight, June 7th, 1996.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Joe Cortez calls a halt to the bout. Dr. Flip Homansky has ruled that the former champion Julio Cesar Chavez was unable to continue because of severe lacerations to the eyes. The winner by technical knockout, winning his 4th world title belt and new WBC super lightweight champion of the world, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
Oscar De La Hoya having a birthday today, 53. That first fight against Julio Cesar Chavez, that was a really big bout. It kind of signaled the passing of the torch to a new boxing generation. Also, other birthdays today. Dan Quayle, the former VP, 79 years old today. Rob Corddry, the comedian, 55 years old today. Gavin DeGraw, 49. Hannibal Buress, speaking of comedians, also having a birthday today, 43 years old. Events on this date. Oh, man, this is a big one. On this date, 1945, Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin met in Yalta to kind of divide up the world.
The summer palace of Tsar Nicholas II is the setting for Russia's welcome. The conference is to seal Hitler's fate and establish lasting peace, and is attended by presidential advisor Harry Hopkins with Mr. Eden. The host arrives, Joseph Stalin, chairman of the Council of People's Commissars of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Not since the Tehran conference 14 months ago have the 3 top executives of Allied strategy and diplomacy met. Meantime, the results of that first meeting were bearing fruit on Germany's eastern and western borders.
All right. And also on this date from the movies, 1970, the movie Patton, starring George C. Scott, premiered in New York. It won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1971.
George C. Scott as General Patton.
If they followed my plan, I'd be there by now. I'd cut off the retreat of every damn German that's hanging on this island. I didn't pick you.
Carl Malden as General Bradley.
I picked you. You're one of the best field commanders I've got, but you don't know when to shut up. George, you're a pain in the neck.
Sicily. France. The Battle of the Bulge.
I will be proud to lead you wonderful guys into battle anytime, anywhere.
Patton. Rated M.
And from the NHL on this date, 1997, Mario Lemieux of the Penguins becomes the 7th NHL player to score 600 goals. It's an empty netter against Vancouver at the old Civic Arena. All right, there we go. So Lemieux scores his 600th goal, an empty netter against the Canucks at the arena on this date in 1997. Oh, musical birthdays to the break. Coop, one of our former guests on the show, Alice Cooper, turning 78 today. The 5 things to know at 5 o'clock in Sports are next.
This is Hotline. Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Trojan Landing Marine is now Charleston's newest power sports dealership.
We now feature a full line of sleek Suzuki street bikes and four-wheelers. We're now offering the innovative riding experience of Benda motorcycles. The next step in motorcycle evolution with all-electric Zero high-performance bikes. We've now got Segway vehicles starting as low as $10,000. Come in and check out our great selection of high-quality Benelli and Royal Enfield bikes. Visit Trojan Landing in Charleston, now your water, road, and dirt dealership.
Coming to Parkersburg High School, February 6th and 7th. Who are the toughest men and women in the state of West Virginia? Watch Tough Man live on Metro News Television to find out. Featured fights, top 5 finishes, and event archives. Download Metro News Television on iPhone, iPad, Android, Roku, LG TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Find out more at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
New year, new trucks. Start your year off with a new truck from Dan Cava Toyota World. Now lease a 2025 Tacoma for as low as $299 a month. Save over $7,500 off on select Tundras or get 2.99% for 72 months. It's your last chance to get a gas model 2025 RAV4. Don't miss out. Come experience cars you can count on year after year. Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the road.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
Sports at the Lines at 5 o'clock. College basketball. Marshall's going to host Southern Miss tonight. The NASCAR season is getting underway today with the Cookout Clash in Winston-Salem. They'll be racing in the Clash in about an hour. And the Tigers' Mickey Lolich has passed away at the age of 85. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Lost him. And you know what? It was just about to get good, too. It was just getting good. We lost
Should
him.
we take the break and maybe he'll call back? I don't know.
You know what? We can take the break, and we can see if Ethan can reconnect with him, because I want to hear where he goes with that answer. I don't know. CJ, I'm just saying, we just started bringing up some deep stuff, and then it gets cut off. Is the Illuminati listening to the show? Just saying.
Welcome back to the show. 3 minutes away from 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock.
That's it. I'm going home.
Dang, man.
See ya.
I wouldn't even be on the air on any of our stations before 8 o'clock. I don't know where that came from. Reading, it's hard.
Well, I think when you have I'll say in all candor, when you're in a foreign country and a monkey in a diaper sitting on your head, you're asking for trouble.
Discussion can end there. That's right. Boom. It's a definitive statement on the issue. Now we move on.
So how many times have you thought about that was a bad idea that I had a monkey on my head since you had the monkey on your head?
Every time I go visit Dr. Pellegrino, my personal doctor. Do you know what it's like to tell your doctor that?
Well, Doc, I also had a monkey. Excuse me? Had a monkey on my head with a diaper on. I bet you that's the first time Dr. Ron has ever heard that one. He's probably heard a lot of things.
He's heard a lot. Yeah, Dr. Ron has.
He's one of the great West Virginians. He's up there from the Northern Panhandle.
He's awesome.
Tremendous.
Yeah, Dr. Ron. Good dude.
We were talking in my office a little earlier, and a phrase that Ryan used that I was really kind of gobsmacked over. He started a sentence with me. He said, "We were watching football on Thursday."
I know, he did the same thing to me. He did this. Is this like Earth 2?
I said, what?
He came back and started telling me about the Cowboys and the Chiefs game.
I know.
And you were watching the Lions game on Thanksgiving Day.
Well,
what happened? What happened to our little Ryan?
Well, when my Uncle Bill and my Uncle Chris asked if I want to watch football with them, I don't say no.
Okay.
So because I'm not a I'm not a recluse anymore.
So if you have uncles that are big sports fans, do you get some creds? Are you like, hey, I'm actually kind of sports show, it's syndicated.
Well, I don't.
Statewide.
Well, I don't want this to be a sports show.
Second game this season that Honors had 8 threes. Second time he's had 8 threes, and his coach has pulled him out with over 4 minutes to go.
You're up 40.
Yeah, but coach just does not want to see him get that record.
There may have been a discussion about that on exactly where he was in the number.
Did you let him know this time?
But there was a discussion about where he was with the number. But at the end of the day, Ross decided the juice not worth the squeeze there. With 3.5 minutes left is when he pulled him out after the timeout there. And that's a guy with a lot of minutes on his in his body. You need to rest him. But 2 out of 11, you got to think maybe he's going to approach that again. Here's what's wild. In those 2 games where he's just been one off of Alex Ruoff's record, he's now a combined 16 of 20 from 3 in those 2 games. So he didn't just make 8 threes, guys. He was 8 of 11 last night. He was 8 of 9 when he did it before. 16 of 20 combined in those 2 games.
Across this great state of West Virginia, welcome in high school game nights. I chuckle a little bit, folks, because it said early edition.
As compared to the
only
rest
edition.
of the edition, yeah.
Tonight is Going to be interesting, to say the least.
10 seconds remaining.
It's going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
You had a moment of clarity about when it all started to make sense for you?
It did, because I didn't want to be a filmmaker growing up. I didn't even know what filmmaking was growing up. I used to watch Oprah and Katie Couric, and that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be you. And I worked at West Virginia University's radio station, had a very thick accent. People would call in and make fun of me. And so I asked my roommates, my college roommates who are from Baltimore, to teach me how to talk differently.
Really?
Yeah. And it's a loss, I feel, from that. And it's probably one of the reasons why I love documenting people that are authentic. Like, I don't know if I'm authentic, but I think the people I find are very authentically who they are, and that's what draws me to them.
This is Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law. Metro News Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekley.
All right, welcome back to the show, Metro News Hotline. Here until 6 o'clock on the Metro News Radio Network. Thanks so much for tuning in today, folks. Hey, we've already had a couple of hours down today. One more hour to go. If you've missed any of that stuff, you can always double back and check it out at the website, WVMetronews.com. That's where our podcast lives. That's where the podcast of all the other shows on the network also lives. You can find it everywhere, but you know what? The website's a great place to start, WVMetronews.com. Not only is our podcast there, but there's tons of West Virginia-related news that gets updated 24/7, 365. Check it out, the website, WVMetronews.com. Coop, we got a lot of stuff happening in this particular hour. You know what, though? Let's just start with a couple of things about baseball, okay? We may hear Eugenio Suarez in this segment if we have time. We've got a couple of other things. Tony Gibson met the media today. Marshall officially introduced its spring football recruiting class. We'll get some comments from him. You've got a song that you've created from AI about Super Bowl 60, your love for the Seahawks, your burning hatred of the Patriots. You've still got issues from the last time you two teams met.
It's not that. Not that bad. It's just a communal. Hey, come on board. Let's all root against the Patriots. You don't have to root for the Seahawks. That's the thing. You can just root against the Patriots, and it's just fine. And when I was trying to put this together, I try not to overdo these things.
Okay.
But when I was trying to put this together, what matches for Seattle?
As a Steeler fan, I have Spygate issues to this day.
There you go.
So
there's specific call-outs to Steelers fans. Come on board. We got to protect the 7.
I just have to say that Seattle fandom is a new feeling for me. It's like putting on a new jacket. But all I'm telling you, dude, is you got one job.
I know.
Okay, you got one job.
And look, man, I'm here to tell you it's not always easy. They put cream cheese on hot dogs.
That's
right. I'm
right.
telling you, it's not always easy.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so here's a couple of things here. The baseball thing. You and I both operate as commissioners for our listener leagues, for our hotline listeners. I got a notification last night to renew the league, which I have, and you have been able to log into your Yahoo account.
Yeah, I forgot. I didn't even know that I had one, but
Yes.
it's still there, luckily.
So now, if you're in one of our Yahoo baseball leagues, you should be getting an email, a confirmation of that. All right?
I think that's true.
And we will have our draft, and I have a draft date. Let's see, the draft date. This is good for me, so you don't, we don't use the same date. We will be drafting on March 24th at 8 p.m. That is the date before the season opening game on Netflix between the Yankees and the Giants. So it's kind of messy to try to do an online draft on the air.
It is. I wish there was some way. I was looking at Yahoo has customized their import features a little more and things like that, and it got me inspired. I wish there was some way. I don't necessarily want to do a keeper league with our fans.
I thought about it. I don't want to do that.
But a franchise player, one player you get to
Ooh.
keep every year would be a neat thing.
Well, that's a good idea.
To have a franchise player. I would love to be able to put something together like that where you get to keep your one guy.
Well,
that you draft him, you get to keep him every year.
Well, to differentiate between the leagues, you could set your league up that way.
I'll see if I can.
Yeah.
I was looking around. I didn't have time to look at it today, but I might do that tonight to see if there's some way to do that.
Also, we had a listener send me a note on the text line within the last hour. Dave, don't forget about the Cookout Clash of the NASCAR season. Coop, this event has been delayed twice by snow. What was it? How do they refer to this? The bomb cyclone. So this thing's been delayed twice.
I don't want to hear any bomb cyclones.
I don't really want to hear too much about that. They never used to use phrases like atmospheric river. It's raining. Okay, it's raining. It's not an atmospheric river. But the point is that the Cookout Clash, we have just finished the last qualifying race, and the Busch Clash. Oh, it looks like it's cold there at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem. So it is going to start here in about an hour. So the NASCAR season is about to officially start. And I know what you're thinking. We have a bunch of people who are in our NASCAR fantasy league. You don't have to worry about this. There are no points awarded for the Clash. Now, it'll be a little different in Daytona a couple of weeks from now, but just be aware. And also, if you are still logged in to your NASCAR.com account, you are still in our league. All right, so we have about 30 people, and I know a lot of them listen.
That's awesome.
So don't worry about getting your lineup in for the Clash. You only have to worry about the Daytona 500. Wait a minute. I think I'm hearing something from Stephanie. Stephanie's in the box. What's up, Stephanie?
Temperatures of 32 at the start of the Clash.
Okay. We got a temperature update. From Bowman Gray Stadium. 32 degrees.
32 degrees.
32 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, Winston-Salem from Charleston, man, you can get there in a pretty big hurry. It's how long does it take to get to Winston-Salem?
Magic 32?
Like 3 hours, something like that. I've done a couple of football games at Bowman Gray. But anyway, I digress. I want to hear your AI song.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Okay, so this is you created. What do we need to know about this?
Nothing really. I was trying to think of what would fit the area, right? Like, so this is supposed to be Seattle fans reaching out to the rest of the league. Like, come on board, one night only. It's just us versus the Patriots, right? So it's grunge. It's grunge. So that's about it.
Let's have it.
All right,
is there a name for it?
Yeah, it's just called Not Today, New England.
Not Today, New England.
Not Today, New England. Here we go.
Not Today, New England.
Oh, that'd help if I hit the right one. That was the wrong one.
Not today.
Right, here we go.
Not today.
Grab your colors, grab your grudge, static heart and a bleeding tongue. If you ever saw the banners rise, counting rings like they own the sky. gonna scream it high. Hey, pile up all our welcome, from chief seas to every nation. Everybody but the Patriots. Everybody but the Patriots.
I think we can all get behind this sentiment.
Yeah, man.
I think we can get behind
Yeah,
it.
this is just a rallying cry for everybody. You don't have to be a fan. You don't have to be a fan. Just come on board for one night, man.
I'll tell you what, about 90 seconds of that, and I was looking for my flannel, man.
There you go, man. That's what it was. It was all supposed to be all about the grunge.
So there you go.
The Seattle sound.
Super Bowl 60 on Sunday. Seattle continues to be a favorite. You know what? One more thing about the Super Bowl. I heard some people talking about this, that they think that Seattle fans want revenge for the first time they lost to the Patriots when they were on the verge of winning. Do you feel that way?
Not really. I want to win the Super Bowl, but man, that's what, 14?
I know, that's
years
a
ago,
long
something
time
like,
ago,
That's a long
man.
time ago, man. I mean, you want to win the Super Bowl, but frankly, the Patriots didn't beat Seattle. I mean, they did. They won the Super Bowl, but I think most Seattle fans are like, man, that's on us. I mean, you're not mad at the Patriots for it. You're mad that you didn't run the dang ball.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I don't have any real. My general animosity is towards the Patriots, but not from that game.
Okay, that's I totally get that. Now, if Seattle wins the Super Bowl this week, there will be somebody with a clever reference to that game in a poster, right? Somebody will have there'll be a reference to it. But I'm kind of with you on that. The Steelers have been in a lot of Super Bowls. They've won most of them. But if the Steelers were in a Super Bowl, I wouldn't be harking back to a revenge mode.
Right.
You know?
I will say one thing. The craziest way that this Super Bowl could possibly end would be with a 1-yard stop on the 1-yard line when Seattle tries to run the ball and get stuffed.
Yeah.
That would be the craziest possible way for this Super Bowl to win.
NBC, they're ready for that.
Yeah,
okay.
right.
They probably got like 10 associate producers working on that right now. So there you go. That was a pretty good song. And when you lined that up in the AI, did you Seattle /grunge, and that's what they gave you?
I've evolved well past that level of sophistication. I call the instruments.
Really?
I do the BPM and the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I compose. I'm not a musician, but I've learned how to compose songs through narrative instructions, and so that's what.
So you didn't have to Nirvana, Soundgarden.
No, people do that, but I don't have to. I know how to construct the songs. I know the building blocks of the song, so I knew how to bring in the drums, and that's why it sounded a little bit more like Nirvana than generic drums. I was specifically trying to go after the Nirvana sound.
One other thing, as I said at the beginning of the segment, if you have been in one of our Yahoo Fantasy Baseball leagues in the past and you got an email from us within the last few minutes, it's not spam. It's not spam. Just check it out. You're good to go. I think all of our leagues are filled, Coop.
Yeah, we'll see if we have any dead emails or something like that. Bounce back. But generally speaking, we have folks that join in every year.
Yeah, we're packed. If we need a third league, drop me a note. You won't have to play in that one if you don't want to, Coop. But if we need a third league,
we always say that, but we rarely have. But I guess if we have enough people that want to do something new. By the way, that song I sent it to you on X or whatever. So if you wanted to redirect it out there, you can.
You know what? I think I will definitely do that. There you go. Oh, question of the day. I wanted to get that quickly in here before we move on. By the way, we will play Tony Gibson stuff a little bit later on in this hour. Tony Caridi is going to join us here in about 15 minutes, talk about Mountaineer basketball. He's in Cincinnati with the team. They've just arrived. They're playing the Bearcats tomorrow night. Question of the day, sponsored by Salango Law. The Washington Post laid off a third of its staff today, eliminating its sports section. So the question of the day is this: who are the sports writers that impacted your love of sports growing up? And what's your reaction to the news that the Post is dropping its sports section altogether? Who are the sports writers that impacted your love of sports growing up? And what's your reaction to the news that the Washington Post is dropping its sports section? To respond, text those in, 304-TALK, 304-825-5304. I'm on Exit Weekly, WEEKLEY, one word, 3 E's, WEEKLEY. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and play some in or out in just a moment.
You can call us at 800-765-8255. Text us at 304-825-5304. Or tweet at WEEKLEY. This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
You want to know what West Virginia is talking about?
It's good to be back in Morgantown today.
Now it's different.
I think it's mostly just business.
What I voted for and what I think makes the most sense.
Well, Dave, this has been a bit of a controversy.
I want to thank the caller last week that said I sounded like Hoppy Kercheval. That was flattering.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talkline on Metro News Television.
Trojan Landing Marine is now Charleston's newest power sports dealership.
We now feature a full line of sleek Suzuki street bikes and four-wheelers. We're now offering the innovative riding experience of Benda motorcycles. The next step in motorcycle evolution with all-electric Zero high-performance bikes. We've now got Segway vehicles starting as low as $10,000. Come in and check out our great selection of high-quality Benelli and Royal Enfield bikes. Visit Trojan Landing in Charleston, now your water, road, and dirt dealership.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
All right, welcome back to the show. 524. Coop, some of the early returns on the Seahawks song.
Yeah, I didn't like it so much, you know.
They were with the theme.
Maybe a little heavy on the grunge.
Yeah, maybe a little.
Yeah, I have a drinking song version of it as well. I couldn't decide what was really the best. It's like more of a chanty song. It might have been better. The grunge thing was sort of a last second rewrite.
Hey, we got a couple more days.
Yeah, maybe I'll work on it some, and we might look at it on Friday and see what folks think.
Hey, it's a two-man bobsled edition of In or Out today, and that seems appropriate with the Winter Olympics coming up. Every day at this time, we focus on the stuff you talk about. At the office, we call it In or Out. The setup is simple. 3 categories: fruit or beverage, gut reaction. Finally, this one's about a celebrity. The topics of which change daily. Let's get started with food or beverage. Coop, I think this is a good one. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
KFC launching new wedges and queso as a shareable side ahead of the Super Bowl this weekend. It's available as a digital exclusive on the KFC website and mobile app at participating locations nationwide. Wedges and Queso features a large side of the crispy seasoned potato wedges paired with 16 ounces of queso dip. Wedges and Queso from KFC. In or out?
This is just a structural problem for me in this promotion. It wouldn't matter. Wouldn't matter if it was KFC or somebody else. Man, I don't like queso on fries, man. It's just so messy and drips off all over the place, and you can't, like, you have to eat it with a fork, really, for it to make any sense. I mean, it's not like I mind getting cavemen every once in a while, but queso gets all over everything, man. That chemical cheese stuff just, I mean, I don't mind it. It's fine, but, yeah, this just isn't for me. I don't like it in this delivery system. I don't like the structure of it. I got to be out.
You know, there's only a few things that they really do at KFC, right? And you're always trying to find a way
to... Yeah, and chicken and cheese sounds gross.
Yeah, to kind of mix it up. Now, when I roll this out on social media, a lot of people really like this idea.
Okay, cool.
Like this idea. I got to say, though, I'm kind of with you on this. I really don't like the idea of putting queso on my potato wedges.
Yeah, doesn't do it
I like
for me.
queso, and I do like KFC potato wedges, but I just can't get with this. I'm going to be out. And is that a first for me? Ever?
Maybe on KFC? Maybe.
Gut reaction is next. How about this? Cracker Barrel now mandating that employees only eat at their own restaurants during work travel. Cracker Barrel has implemented a new policy requiring employees to dine exclusively at company restaurants while traveling for business. According to an internal message obtained by the Wall Street Journal, workers must eat at Cracker Barrel locations for all or most meals during trips when practical. The policy also prohibits alcohol reimbursements unless employees pay personally or receive senior leadership approval. Cracker Barrel mandating employees eat only at their own restaurants during work travel. In or out?
First of all, I've worked at a corporation where senior management approval was required for drinks and spirits and things along those lines.
Yeah.
That's such a scam. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's ways. Frankly, if they're reimbursing 100% of the meals, that is their prerogative. Hey, we'll reimburse 100% of your meals when you're eating at Cracker Barrel. If they are not reimbursing 100% of the meals, and this is like, hey, you got to eat at Cracker Barrel restaurants regardless. Nah, man. No. So I'm not sure which it is. So on general principle, I'm out.
You know, this story is pretty interesting. They go back to when they changed their logo at Cracker Barrel. When they took Uncle Herschel, I didn't even realize that cat had a name.
Okay.
When they took him off the logo, they lost $94 million in value in one day. But yet the junior VPs can't eat at other places.
If anything should have made them lose all their value in one day is when I went in there, found their Origin of Blues section for a CD, and their only CD was Pat Boone. That is when they should have lost all of their market share.
I got to be out on this. And I'm not a Cracker Barrel hater. I'm really not.
Cracker Barrel indeed.
Let's see. Also, this one's about a celebrity. Let's go with Anthony Davis. The unibrow traded today in a massive 8-player deal between the Wizards and the Dallas Mavericks. You know, after he was traded from the Lakers, Anthony Davis only played 29 games in Dallas. 29. He's owed almost $59 million next year and has a player option for almost $63 million in 2027. Anthony Davis, in or out?
And he's stacking those rings too, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, does he have any?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I didn't think so. This is another one of those guys that we talk about all the time that never win anything. I mean, I guess he...
Now, wait a minute. Wasn't he on the team when the Lakers won in the bubble? I think he might have been.
Who counts that year? But yeah maybe he was. So I guess that's a ring's a ring. Anyway, I've never really got the cat, to be honest with you. I don't know him enough to be out on him. It's not like I dislike him, but boy, if there's anybody that I'm apathetic over, it's this dude. So I guess like a real weekend.
I'm going to surprise you. I think the Wizards are buying low on AD. I'm going to be slightly in on this. The dude, when he's on the floor, he's good. All right, we'll take a break. Tony Caridi's coming up next. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
With West Virginia Metro News, I'm Morgan Pemberton. A safe haven baby box is set to be installed at WVU Hospital's Jackson General in the near future after the hospital and the Jackson County Commission reached an agreement for the device. The box will be located on the side of the building and will allow new mothers to use if they decide they cannot handle the responsibility and wish to give the child up. The commission paid for the $15,000 box and the hospital will maintain it. Commission President Steve Westfall says this was an important device for him.
You see stories, I have of children being dropped off at different places. This is a safe place for them to be dropped off. I hope it's never used, but if a mother cannot take care of that child, there'll be a safe place to put it, and it'll be loved.
And it was WVU Day at the state capitol today. During the event, students, faculty, staff, and supporters demonstrated the wide variety of offerings in the WVU system to lawmakers. President Michael Benson says with the in-state resources, they have the ability to help students find a meaningful career path.
That could be a 2-year degree, it could be a trade, it could be a 4-year degree at a Kaiser or a Potomac State, or in Huntington at Marshall or Shepherd or wherever. So the more we can cooperate, the more we can try and keep costs down and ensure access for every West Virginian, the better we'll be served.
You're listening to Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Brighten your mornings with Tudor's $5 sunrise specials. Enjoy our Mary B, egg, crispy bacon, and cheese on our buttery biscuit, loaded with more bacon than the rest. Or try the Ron, featuring a bigger, hearty sausage patty topped with egg and cheese on a biscuit so delicious you'll savor every bite. Each combo comes with crispy hash browns and your choice of coffee or iced tea, all for just $5. Warm up winter mornings with this hot deal. Available for a limited time.
Hi, I'm Chris Lawrence, and the great outdoors is coming inside. Join me at the 24th Annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show presented by Can-Am, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown. More than 100,000 square feet of fishing gear and hunting supplies, outfitters and charter boats, ATVs, campers and tractors, guns, knives, and much more, all under one roof. An outdoorsman's paradise. The West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show, March 7th and 8th in Morgantown. A WVRC media event.
A Harrison County woman is in custody following a shooting on Tuesday. Deputies arrested Ginger Wolf and charged her with malicious assault for allegedly shooting the victim. The victim was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police did say Wolf admitted to presenting the firearm and shooting the victim. She's being held on a $100,000 bond. And AARP West Virginia will hold a news conference tomorrow at the state capitol. They will be revealing new statewide polling data that showed fraud prevention is a top voting issue for West Virginians. The event will take place in the governor's conference room. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Morgan Pemberton.
Ask yourself what you will miss more, your children or cigarettes. As long as I can remember, my mother smoked. She died from lung cancer when I was 16. I could not take the chance of continuing smoking and not being here for my daughter. I know how much I needed my mom still, and I didn't realize it until I had lost her.
You're not just quitting for yourself. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
All right, welcome back. 26 till the hour. Get a quick reset on our question of the day. Tony Caridi is going to join me from Cincinnati here in just a moment. West Virginia. College basketball looking to bounce back after kind of a disappointing effort against Baylor over the weekend. Huge game for both the Mountaineers and the Bearcats coming tomorrow night. And, of course, West Virginia's got – you may not be aware of this, but WVU's got a basketball game at home on Super Bowl Sunday against Texas Tech. So you can go to the basketball game and then catch Super Bowl 60. That'll be on Sunday. But the battle with the Bearcats, that's going to be the topic of our conversation with Tony in just a moment. Jeff Jenkins is going to be by with the Capitol Report here in just a few minutes. And Tony Gibson met the media today as Marshall officially announced their spring recruiting class for 2026. A host of high school players and some other transfers coming in. So we'll hear from Tony Gibson before we get out of here at the top of the hour. All right, question of the day. Question of the day. And it's sponsored by Salango Law. The Washington Post laid off a third of its staff today, about 300 people, eliminating its sports section. By the way, Coop, you got it. If you were working at the Post today, you got an email And in the subject line, it basically told you whether you were out or whether you got to keep your job. How sweet would that be, right? How would you like that? So the Post laid off a third of its staff today, eliminating the entire sports section in addition to other things. So the question of the day is this: who were the sports writers that impacted your love of sports growing up? And what's your reaction to this news that the Post is dropping its sports section altogether? Who are the sports writers that impacted your love of sports growing up? And what's your reaction to the news that the Washington Post is dropping its sports section? We've got a bunch of responses to this. We'll get into those in a bit. You can jump in there, too. The text line here is 304-TALK, 304-304-8255-304. I'm on X2 at Weekly, WEEKLEY. All right, Tony Caridi joins me from the Queen City. He's in Cincinnati. Tony, how was the trip over from Morgantown? How's it going today?
It was splendid, Dave. 54 minutes in the air, on the ground. You can't make it any quicker than that. It was perfect.
That's good. So, the team's in town. Will you guys go by the arena or just are you going to head over to the arena?
Literally here in about 5 minutes. They're watching film right now. Going to go over at 5:45. Have to use the practice gym at Cincinnati because Baylor's women's team plays Cincinnati's women's team tonight at 6:30. And so Baylor's women came from Morgantown, and they've been here in Cincinnati since, I guess it would be, the weekend. And so they've been waiting to play. So we get a practice gym, and then tomorrow West Virginia will get into Fifth Third Arena for a shoot-around.
So you're in town. I mean, is the team going to eat at the hotel? Are you going to be able to break away and slide over to the Montgomery Inn? Or
oh, there you go. So yeah, team will come back here, and they'll do a little bit more film, and they will have their meal, and then that will be calling it for a night. And then tomorrow morning, as you know, you'll get up, little breakfast, shoot around, and it just goes really super quick. Once you're back from the shoot around, it's just a small time off, team meal, and then you're gone, and you're over there to play the game, and hopefully you get the result you're looking for. And as you indicated, very important game for both teams. Cincinnati's sitting right at 500, 11-11, and we all know the Wes Miller story and the potential that he could be moved at the end of this season. And West Virginia will try to get back a victory that it had been hoping to get at home against Baylor the other day, and so now you got to try to find an extra one on the road.
So, from a Cincy perspective, we talked a little bit about this yesterday on the show. I mean, if you take a look at it, if you're a Bearcats fan or you're inside their program, you say, okay, we're hosting West Virginia. We get UCF in our building this weekend. We go to K-State. They've been kind of a grease fire. Mm-hmm. And then Utah. I mean, this is pretty much where they're drawing the line here. If you squint hard enough, you can see a 4-game winning streak for Cincinnati. But if they lose this game to West Virginia tomorrow night, this could be the beginning of the end for Wes Miller.
Yeah, I think that we're at that point. I think really, Dave, for all teams in this league right now, not that they're just going to fizzle out, but you're at this point in the season where, we're like a month away from the end of the regular season. We've made the turn. We're 9 games in, 9 games to go. And teams, this is really super important. Whether it's said or not said, teams either elevate or they start to go down. And I think you'd make a really great point that Cincinnati, will have a big impact on what this game does. Now, they had some injuries, as you know, in their Houston game. We're waiting when this injury report comes out later tonight. I think it comes out 8 o'clock our time to see what Cincinnati is listing. But Mustafa Cham, their big center, had an ankle sprain of some sort against Houston, and we don't know if he's going to go. They're definitely one of their bench guys is not going to go. Sincere Harris has been missing because of the flu. Now he is expected to play. Kirk Karisa's shoulder still hurts. So wait to see what all happens, but that'll be a big part of the game as well.
So one of the topics yesterday when there was a media availability with Ross Hodge was talking about West Virginia getting off to quicker starts, which was really kind of one of the characteristics of West Virginia basketball early in the season, and maybe just scoring more points. I mean, the offense has kind of gone away the last 3 games.
It has, and, to his, as he said, and it only makes sense, right? It's so much easier all the way around of playing with the lead. And you're right. We came out of some games this year where they were absolutely cooking, and you've got to try to find that. You've got to get shots made early on in the game, especially on the road. When you dig a hole, whether it's 6, 8, then you start to get into double figures on the road, everything just tightens up, and it makes it more and more difficult. Cincinnati's been good at home this year, Dave. They're 11-2. They got a big win. They pounded Iowa State, if you remember, earlier here. So West Virginia's got to play at an extremely high level of efficiency, not only in shooting the ball, but I just think physically. These games are normally decided physically. You've got two really good defensive teams, and you just can ill afford, sloppy play, turning the ball over. That's a huge statistic in this game. Cincinnati got a bunch of its points in the first meeting against West Virginia off of Mountaineer turnovers. You have got to be really super judicious with that basketball. Otherwise, you could get into a big hole.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Cincinnati's a really a tough team to beat at home. You mentioned the upset win they got against the Cyclones. And don't forget, I mean, they basically had Houston beat in their building until they went ice cold at the end of that game. Hey, I wanted to ask you, I mean, you date back to when West Virginia was in the Big East, when West Virginia would play Georgetown. I mean, did you ever think that you would see a world where the Washington Post would not have a sports section? I mean, that was a must-read. It was always kind of exciting when there would be an article about West Virginia and Georgetown, when it would when the Mountaineers would play the Hoyas, and there would be a preview or a post-game story in the Post.
Yeah, it's a sad day, and you and I have talked in the past when we've seen these kinds of things happen within the newspaper industry. But they were one of those, a very on one hand, you could count the great sports newspapers in our country, and they would be one of them, right? They had a higher level of writing than most everyone. Some of the great writers of all time, right, were part of the Washington Post, and to see it just get blown up once again is an indication that we are in a different world when it comes to newspapers and how we're, ingesting our information.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the big names on the Post, John Feinstein was there, and Sally Jenkins, and then, of course, Wilbon and Kornheiser, and Shirley Povich wrote in the Post for 75 years. So, it's kind of a sad day in regards to that. Hey, Tony, thanks for your time. Bring home a win, and hey, get ready for a home game at the Hope Coliseum on Super Bowl Sunday.
You got a deal. Looking forward to that, Dave. I appreciate it very much.
All right, Tony Caridi, a voice of the West Virginia Mountaineers.